The cold and elegant beauty, my CEO. As night fell, the evening in Qingcheng was hot and oppressive. In a corner of a bar by the river, a slender young man with delicate features, dressed in worn canvas clothes, sat alone at a table. He held a glass of red wine, sipping it while curiously watching the chaotic dance of revelers under the flickering lights amidst the deafening music. Sigh. After spending 20 years on the island, I never knew the world outside could be so vibrant. Qiao Xiaolang sighed softly. His attention was soon drawn to a woman dressed in black nearby. The woman seemed only a few years older than him. She sat alone, holding a glass of red wine, her face cold and somber, her eyes fixed intently on the glass as if the surrounding noise didn't exist for her. Qiao Xiaolang continued sipping his wine, enjoying the view of the woman. Her wavy, shoulder-length hair framed a flawless oval face, with almond-shaped eyes beneath delicate brows, exuding a sensual charm. Her high nose and proud curves, especially the long, slender legs beneath the black dress, were exceptionally alluring. Qiao Xiaolang's heart skipped a beat. This woman had an aura that was simply captivating, exotic yet not vulgar. Her cold and aloof exterior concealed an undeniable nobility and grace. As he admired her, he glanced around, unintentionally spotting a greasy-haired man peeking out from a second-floor private room. The man was staring at the woman with greedy eyes, then called someone over and whispered something in his ear. Moments later, the bar manager approached the woman with a tray in hand. With a polite smile, he said, "Good evening, madam. This is a special drink for our VIP guests to help sober up." Liu Yezi, feeling parched after drinking, took the drink, thanked the manager, and drank it down. The manager left and nodded toward the upstairs. Qiao Xiaolang raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Liu Yezi, CEO of the Sigh group, was in a bad mood tonight. Just a few days ago, she had narrowly escaped a kidnapping and was still shaken. Earlier in the afternoon, she had received a call from her foster mother. "Yezi, Dongzi is about to be released. It's time for you to deal with your issues." The cold, commanding tone of her foster mother still echoed in Liu Yezi's mind, causing her heart to tremble. After finishing her drink, Liu Yezi sighed softly and looked around, only to sense a pair of lecherous eyes on her. Seeing Qiao Xiaolang staring at her, Liu Yezi frowned and shot him a glare. Qiao Xiaolang grinned. She must be looking at him with admiration, surely it was his handsome appearance that caught her attention. Feeling pleased with himself, Qiao Xiaolang reflected that he had just gotten his driver's license in the morning and secured a job with Sigh Group in the afternoon. Suddenly, Liu Yezi's expression shifted. She felt a heat rising in her body, an uncontrollable itch that made her squirm in discomfort, her face contorted in pain. "Huh? Why is the beauty suddenly squirming?" Qiao Xiaolang stood up and walked over. "Miss, what's wrong?" Liu Yezi didn't speak, but her body writhed even more violently. Seeing her discomfort, Qiao Xiaolang quickly glanced at the greasy-haired man on the second floor who was now dancing around like a lunatic and understood immediately. Damn it, that greasy-haired guy is no good. Saving the woman was the priority. Without hesitation, Qiao Xiaolang bent down, scooped her up, and rushed out of the bar. As they were leaving in a taxi, a few men came rushing out of the bar, looked around, saw no one, and grudgingly went back inside. On the way, Qiao Xiaolang asked where Liu Yezi lived. In her dazed state, Liu Yezi couldn't answer clearly, so Qiao Xiaolang had the driver take them to a small hotel. He rented a room and carried her inside. Once inside, he placed her on the bed and uncovered her clothes, shocked by what he saw. Her otherwise flawless, fair skin was covered with red spots. Qiao Xiaolang recalled what his master had told him. These were the symptoms of a rare and deadly poison, the venom of a black scorpion from the northern wilderness. This poison was extremely potent, and once it took effect, the victim would quickly succumb to heart failure. The only way to cure it was through a balance of yin and yang. Seeing Liu Yezi writhing on the bed in agony like a slippery eel, Qiao Xiaolang knew that if he didn't act soon, she would perish. What a waste! A beauty like her, gone just like that, it's heartbreaking. Qiao Xiaolang frowned. "Beauty, let me help you detox." The next morning, in the office of the CEO of Sigh Group, Liu Yezi sat at her desk, her eyes red and swollen. She vaguely remembered drinking too much last night, feeling unwell, and being carried out of the bar by that young man who had been staring at her. After that, she couldn't remember anything. When she woke up, she found herself lying in a hotel room, naked, and the young man was nowhere to be found. Liu Yezi immediately understood what had happened. She felt sad and frightened, realizing her precious first time had been taken by a stranger in such a blurry and careless manner. She quickly dressed and rushed out of the hotel. Feeling regretful, Liu Yezi wiped her eyes with a tissue, sighed, and glanced at the documents on her desk. Suddenly, she froze. Looking at the time, she panicked. She had an appointment to meet the mayor at 9 a.m. to discuss a forbidden project, but it was already 8:40, and the drive from the company to the city hall would normally take an hour. Sigh Group had only been established for 2 years, but its rapid development had placed it third among the top 4 conglomerates in Xinjiang. Still, Liu Yezi, a graduate of a world-class business school, wasn't content. She had big ambitions to turn Sigh Group into a renowned commercial empire in China. And to achieve that, government support was essential, especially now, as she was heading to meet the mayor. Her driver had taken a long leave due to family matters. Liu Yezi quickly grabbed her phone and called Milan, the HR director in charge of the fleet, urgently saying, "Milan, send me a car right away. I need to leave." "Milan, the drivers are all out on assignments." There's a new driver named Qiao Xiaolang." Before Milan could finish, Liu Yezi interrupted, "Tell Qiao Xiaolang to wait in the car for me." After hanging up, Liu Yezi rushed downstairs, heading straight for her BMW. She opened the door without a glance at the driver. "Hurry, take me to the city hall." "Sure thing," the BMW roared to life. Liu Yezi suddenly thought their voice sounded a bit familiar. She turned to look at the driver. Qiao Xiaolang was grinning at the wheel, his teeth showing. The BMW screeched as Liu Yezi screamed in terror. Chapter 2, Where's the Rogue? Qiao Xiaolang was in a great mood. After buying breakfast and returning to their hotel, he couldn't find the beautiful woman. He thought they had missed each other, and it was such a shame. But to his surprise, they met again so soon. And not just any woman, but the CEO of Sigh Group. Wow, he had managed to land on the beautiful woman's boss's head. He wondered how Liu Yezi would repay him, maybe with a generous reward or a rocket speed promotion, or perhaps. The more Qiao Xiaolang thought about it, the happier he became. At that moment, Liu Yezi was terrified. She never expected that the demon who had taken her first time would appear again, and now he was driving her car. It was too terrifying. Liu Yezi flailed in the car, panicking, "Grab the rogue. Someone, help me. We're coming, boss." "Where's the rogue?" "Right here." "It's you? You demon." Liu Yezi pointed at Qiao Xiaolang. Qiao Xiaolang was completely confused. "Boss, are you mistaken? How can I catch myself? The demon. How dare you drive my car?" Liu Yezi continued to lose control. "I'm the new driver. I saved you last night, and now we meet again." "Hey, boss, we're quite fated." "Bullshit. Last night, you didn't save me, you were harassing me." "Boss, let me explain what happened last night in detail." "I don't want to hear it. Demon, get lost." Qiao Xiaolang slammed the brakes and immediately opened the car door. "What are you doing?" Liu Yezi asked nervously, staring at him. "Didn't you want me to get lost?" Liu Yezi paused, then suddenly remembered that she needed to meet the mayor urgently. If the demon got lost now, she would be delayed, and that was a 4 billion project at stake. She calmed down, thinking she would deal with the demon later. "Keep driving." Qiao Xiaolang shut the door and mumbled while driving, "Boss, you're really impatient. I haven't finished explaining yet." "Demon, shut up." Liu Yezi was furious. She had already lost her first time, and now he was talking nonsense. Qiao Xiaolang fell silent, focusing on the road. Liu Yezi glanced at the time and started panicking again. There were only 16 minutes until 9 a.m. At this rate, she would be very late. Disappointing the mayor was not something to be taken lightly. "Drive faster," Liu Yezi said irritably. Qiao Xiaolang didn't respond. "Did you hear me? Faster." Still, Qiao Xiaolang didn't respond. "Are you mute?" Liu Yezi snapped. "You told me to shut up," Qiao Xiaolang replied calmly. Liu Yezi was speechless. Qiao Xiaolang smiled. "Boss, how fast do you want to go?" "As fast as you can," Liu Yezi replied. "Then, how about flying? Do you even have that ability?" Liu Yezi sneered. "Don't believe me? I can get to the city hall in 15 minutes. Liu Yezi scoffed. Unless you can actually fly. Well then, let us make a bet. A bet? What kind of bet? Liu Yezi suddenly became curious. I'll get there in 15 minutes or you can do whatever you want with me. If I make it, you'll kiss me. Liu Yezi was stunned. A rogue. She didn't even know how many times he had ravished her last night. And now, he still wasn't satisfied and wanted more. It was infuriating. Demon, get lost. Qiao Xiaolang slammed the brakes again and opened the car door. Going to get lost, he said. Liu Yezi was now furious. That demon was playing with her, making her so angry. She gritted her teeth. Fine, let us bet. If you don't get to the city hall in 15 minutes, you'll leave immediately. Liu Yezi certainly didn't believe that Qiao Xiaolang could get there in 15 minutes. She was already going to be late. But finding an excuse to get rid of the demon wouldn't be a bad thing. Deal. Hold on tight, Qiao Xiaolang said as he closed the door and stepped on the gas. The BMW accelerated rapidly, zooming forward. Liu Yezi was thrown back in her seat and grabbed the handlebar tightly, her heart in her throat. The acceleration was intense. The BMW darted through traffic at lightning speed, weaving in and out, cutting across lanes, and even executed a perfect drift at one intersection. Pedestrians and vehicles swerved to avoid them, staring in disbelief. Liu Yezi screamed and clutched her seat, her heart nearly stopping. Eek! The BMW screeched to a sudden halt, coming to a perfect stop. Boss, we're here. Liu Yezi let out a breath of relief and checked the time. It was 8:58. The demon had really managed to get there in what seemed like the blink of an eye. At exactly 9 a.m., Liu Yezi entered Mayor Qiao Sen's office. Qiao Sen was a middle-aged man who appeared competent and calm. Miss Liu, you're right on time, Qiao Sen said with a smile, extending his hand to her. Good morning, Mayor Qiao, Liu Yezi replied, smiling as she reached to shake his hand. But before she could, Qiao Xiaolang suddenly appeared from behind, grabbing Qiao Sen's hand first, shaking it enthusiastically. Hey, Mayor Qiao. How are you? Qiao Sen paused, looking at Qiao Xiaolang. And you are? Liu Yezi was stunned. Why did the demon follow her in? I'm Miss Liu's driver, Qiao Xiaolang. Mayor Qiao, we're actually relatives. Oh, relatives, hello, Qiao Sen said, his tone distant. A little driver dared to claim they were relatives. He clearly didn't understand his place. Your family is a real gem. Becoming the mayor at such a young age, really bringing honor to the Qiao family. I'm quite pleased with you. You have a bright future ahead. Both Qiao Sen and Liu Yezi were speechless, but Liu Yezi quickly adopted a serious expression. Mayor Qiao, I need to discuss something with you. If you don't mind, could you leave us for a moment? Of course, I won't disturb you, Qiao Xiaolang said with a wide grin, turning and leaving. Well, this relative of mine looks quite serious. After the meeting with Mayor Qiao, Liu Yezi headed to the car where Qiao Xiaolang was waiting. She was just about to open the door when Qiao Xiaolang called out, Boss, wait a moment. What now? Liu Yezi shot him a glare. You lost the bet. Time to fulfill your end of the deal, Qiao Xiaolang said, standing his ground. Chapter 3, Inhalation. Liu Yezi felt instantly awkward. She had thought that the demon would definitely lose the bet, but unexpectedly, he had won. Come on, boss. It's time to fulfill the bet, Qiao Xiaolang said happily. Liu Yezi noticed a few security guards nearby peeking in their direction, and she couldn't help but feel embarrassed. As the CEO, you must keep your word. No backing out, Qiao Xiaolang teased. Liu Yezi's mind raced. That's right, as the CEO, a promise is worth 1,000 gold. She couldn't go back on her word. After a moment of inner struggle, Liu Yezi made up her mind. Damn it, she thought, if I'm going to lose, I'll lose with dignity. She steeled herself and said coldly, get in the car. No, I wanted to be here, Qiao Xiaolang replied firmly. Liu Yezi felt her head spin. Damn it, this demon was so shameless, he actually wanted to do it here. The CEO doesn't back out, he mocked. Liu Yezi's patience snapped. You bastard, you're pushing it. I'm not backing out. Boss, we made a bet, and you lost. You said you'd kiss me. Liu Yezi froze. Damn it, I've been tricked. The CEO must keep her word. I'm only doing this to maintain your authority, Qiao Xiaolang said solemnly. Liu Yezi gritted her teeth. Maintain my authority, as she couldn't express the frustration and humiliation she felt. With a deep breath, she reluctantly raised her face and leaned in. Her face flushed red with anger as she dashed into the car, unable to bear it any longer. Qiao Xiaolang waved at the security guards and then smugly drove off. As the BMW sped away, neither Qiao Xiaolang nor Liu Yezi noticed a young man in a suit standing nearby under the shade of a tree, utterly dumbfounded. Xu Wenjing, the president of Xingtai Group, had been at the city hall on business and happened to witness this scene. Xu Wenjing was Liu Yezi's fervent admirer. He had vowed to marry her, but despite all his efforts, he had never been able to win her heart. Now, his mind was in turmoil. What was going on? His billionaire status and position as the CEO couldn't compare to this little driver in Liu Yezi's eyes. Inside the BMW, Liu Yezi glared at Qiao Xiaolang with fiery eyes. At that moment, she seriously wished there was a knife in her hand. Qiao Xiaolang drove, completely oblivious. Boss, I bet you want to kill me right now. Yep. Too bad I don't have a knife, Liu Yezi replied without hesitation. But you can't do that, or you'll end up with a reputation for biting the hand that feeds you, Qiao Xiaolang teased. Biting the hand that feeds me. Demon, you are so shameless. Wrong, boss. It's not me who is shameless, it's the person who poisoned you last night. Liu Yezi froze. Poisoned? Who poisoned me? Don't you remember? You drank a drink that the bar manager gave you last night? Liu Yezi nodded. That drink had a deadly poison in it. Once you're poisoned, your whole body starts itching uncontrollably, red spots appear on your skin, and you'll soon die from heart failure. The only way to cure the poison is. Liu Yezi thought back. Last night, she had indeed experienced those symptoms. Could it be that she was really poisoned? But the bar manager had no grudge against her. Why would he poison her? She was still skeptical, but she couldn't help but sneer. Qiao Xiaolang, you're not just shameless, you're also good at making up stories. I know you don't believe the bar manager poisoned you, but what if he was instructed by someone else? Someone else? Who? I think a greasy-haired guy in a box on the second floor is very suspicious. Liu Yezi suddenly remembered that she had seen Feng Zhe's figure at the bar last night. He was on the second floor, dressed immaculately with oiled hair and a polished look. Her heart tightened. Could it be that Feng Zhe bribed the bar manager to do this? Liu Yezi knew that Feng Zhe was a notorious troublemaker, capable of any dirty trick. She stared blankly at Qiao Xiaolang. Do you know that greasy-haired guy? Qiao Xiaolang asked. His name is Feng Zhe. He is the son of Feng Henny, the head of Feng's group. He is the most notorious young master in Qingcheng. Now he is the president of Feng's group. Feng Henny? Qiao Xiaolang's heart skipped a beat. The massive case that had happened in Qingcheng 20 years ago, his master had mentioned Feng Henny's name in passing. Qiao Xiaolang fell silent, deep in thought. Liu Yezi was consumed by a mix of anger and humiliation. If it was Feng Zhe who poisoned her, then he deserved to die. Both Feng Zhe and this demon were evil, but she could deal with the demon. Once today was over, she'd make sure he was gone. Chapter 4. I'm going to say I didn't do it. Boss. Qiao Xiaolang called Liu Yezi. Willow Leaf didn't bother to pay attention. Boss Liu. Continue to ignore it. Willow leaves. Still ignore it. Leaf. Willow Leaf raised her eyebrows. Shut up, did you call me Yezi? You don't respond when I call you anything else. It seems I can only call you Yezi from now on. Humph, Liu Yezi pouted. She was leaving tomorrow and was still thinking about the future. Yezi, I saved you, and it would be fine if you didn't thank me, but you even called me a devil. Isn't that a bit too much? Qiao Xiaohai looked very aggrieved. What an exaggeration. Is there anyone who saves people like you? You are clearly a hooligan. Liu Yezi said angrily. How did I act like a hooligan? Qiao Xiaolang asked in surprise. You took my virginity away from me. Oh, your first time is still there, that's great. Qiao Xiaolang said happily. Liu Yezi was annoyed. Asshole, it's gone. You took it away from me last night. How can you be sure that I took it away? Qiao Xiaolang frowned. Liu Yizi was so confused. Damn, he asked me about what he did. I have never seen anyone so shameless in my life. Yizi, what if I say I didn't do it? Bullshit, the facts are there. Where is it? On the bed. On the bed. Did you see blood on the sheets? Liu Yizi was speechless. She had been running so fast in the morning that she had no time to check if there was any blood on the bed sheet. If there's no blood on the sheets, that means two things. Which two things? First of all, I didn't do it. Second, you're lying. You lost your virginity a long time ago. Asshole, you did it. I'm still a virgin. Liu Yizi was trembling all over. Hey, look at you, you say it's gone, and then you say it's still there. Is it there or not? You're almost dizzy. You can't fool people like this. Qiao Xiaolang looked innocent. Liu Yizi was really dizzy at this moment, but she was fooled by Qiao Xiaolang. Damn, he clearly did it, but he refused to admit it. He stripped her naked and faced her white and tender body. Of course the devil couldn't control himself. Any man couldn't help himself. Liu Yizi was certain that Qiao Xiaolang had done it, but she really didn't notice whether there was blood on the bed sheet at the time. In fact, it doesn't matter whether there is blood or not. The key is that my virginity is really gone. What's even more annoying is that the devil is still quibbling. Qiao Xiaolang said softly, Yizi, I am actually a good person, the best person in the world. Liu Yizi's head became even bigger. Damn, there are such good people in the world. By the way, Yizi, where are we going now? Liu Yizi said coldly, go to the construction site in the suburbs. Qiao Xiaolang turned the steering wheel and headed straight for the construction site in the suburbs. Yizi, did your talk with old Qiao go well? Qiao Xiaolang asked after a while. Qiao Xiaolang called Liu Yizi one leaf at a time, which made Liu Yizi's whole body covered with bumps. She turned a stern face and ignored Qiao Xiaolang. Mayor Qiao and I are relatives. If things don't go well, I can talk to him in person. Qiao Xiaolang continued. Liu Yi curled her lips and said, your surname is Qiao and his surname is also Qiao, but there is a huge difference between you. How can he know who you are? You really don't know your place. Half an hour later, the BMW stopped in front of a construction site in the suburbs. Liu Yizi got out of the car and walked in. After a few steps, a 40-year-old man with a mustache blocked her way. Boss Liu, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Liu Yizi looked at little Huzi. He had always wanted to supply materials to the construction site, but she knew that little Huzi often adulterated the materials, so she had never agreed. Liu Yizi said indifferently, Boss Hu, what's the matter? Yes, have you thought about my supplying information? I've already thought about it, no. Mr. Liu, I advise you to be smart and not refuse a toast and then drink a forfeit. The man with a mustache pulled his face and waved at the van behind him. The van opened its doors and 5 people got out. The leader was as strong as a bull, and the other 4 were holding sticks in their hands, shaking their heads and standing beside the man with a mustache. The man with the mustache snorted, Boss Liu, be smart. If you make me unhappy again, I will smash your BMW and throw you into the mud. Willow Leaf's face turned pale instantly. Seeing that Willow Leaf was scared, the little mustache boy was very proud. Hey, big brother, you want to smash the car and throw it into the mud pond, right? Qiao Xiaolang got out of the car at some point and said with a smile. Yes. The man with a mustache snorted and didn't take the skinny young driver seriously at all. Qiao Xiaolang turned to Liu Yizi and said, Boss, you go in first. I'll talk to them about life. Willow Leaf was so eager that she just got up and left. After Liu Yizi entered the construction site, Qiao Xiaolang waved to the leading man. Yo, brother, come to the car, I want to tell you something. What's the matter? Manu asked in a rough voice. There's good news. Qiao Xiaolang winked and went into the back seat of the car first. Manu blinked, got into the back seat of the car and closed the door. What's the matter? If you have to fart, do it now. Qiao Xiaolang grabbed his hand and said, Brother, my name is Qiao Xiaolang. Come, let's be friends. My name is Wu Erniu, and people in the underworld call him Nyo Eri. Before Wu Erniu could finish his words, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in the palm of his hand. His face turned pale and he wanted to resist, but he was powerless. Har har, what Nyo Eri? I think it's better to call him Nyo Erden, right? Erden. Qiao Xiaolang said as he raised his hand and patted Wu Erniu's chin. Click. Wu Erniu's jaw suddenly dropped. Wu Erniu looked at Qiao Xiaolang in horror, and a chill surged through his body. Chapter 5. What did you say? Erden, why don't you say anything? Qiao Xiaolang then pinched Wu Erniu's shoulder hard. Snap. Then the arm fell off. Wu Erniu screamed miserably, beads of sweat began to drip down, and his whole body was shrouded in great fear. Oh my god, he met a master today. Wu Erniu was immediately terrified. Erden, are you tired of living? Qiao Xiaolang's voice was still soft, but there was a cold light in his eyes. Wu Erniu hurriedly shook his head. Qiao Xiaolang smiled and said, do you know what to do next? Wu Erniu nodded vigorously quickly. These few casual blows by Qiao Xiaolang have already crushed Wu Erniu's will. Qiao Xiaolang then raised his hands and patted a few times, and his chin and arms were settled. Then the two of them got out of the car, and Qiao Xiaolang said to Xiao Huzi, do you really want to smash the car and throw it into the mud pond? Nonsense, I smash it if I say so, and I throw it away if I say so. The man with a mustache was very arrogant. Qiao Xiaolang nodded and said to Wu Erniu, Erden, did you hear that clearly? I heard it clearly. Wu Erniu nodded and bowed. Then let's get started. Qiao Xiaolang leaned against the car, crossed his arms, and looked very leisurely. Wu Erniu quickly changed his mindset at this point. He thought that the man with the mustache was just his employer, so it didn't matter if he beat him up. Wu Erniu waved his hand at the younger brother behind him without hesitation, smashed the mustache guy's car. 4 men picked up sticks and started smashing the Land Rover next to them. The mustache guy was dumbfounded and said hurriedly, Brother Erniu, you hit the wrong thing. You should have hit the BMW. Wu Erniu grinned, punched the mustache man to the ground, and then kicked him. Nimrod, I'm not only going to smash your car, I'm also going to smash your body. Over there, 4 guys were smashing the Land Rover wildly, while over here, Wu Erniu was swinging the guy with a mustache to the ground, rolling and howling. Then Wu Erniu lifted up his mustache and threw it directly into the muddy pond, then turned around and looked at Qiao Xiaolang flatteringly, Brother Lang, oh no, Master Lang, are you satisfied? Well, make do with it, Erden, you can disappear from my sight now. Thank you, Master Lang, for letting me go. Wu Erniu breathed a sigh of relief and led his men away. The man with the mustache struggled to climb out of the muddy pond. His mind was completely confused. The people he hired with his own money were now beating him up. This was so unfair. Damn it, this was not the way to play it. Qiao Xiaolang staggered into the construction site. Seeing that Qiao Xiaolang was safe and sound, Liu Yezi was a little surprised. Why did those guys start to fight with mustache just now? The mustache guy was reluctant to give them more money, which pissed them off. Liu Yezi was skeptical, but couldn't think of any other reason. I worked at the construction site until noon and then returned to the city. When they were almost at the group, Liu Yezi suddenly asked Qiao Xiaolang to stop the car. Qiao Xiaolang stopped by the roadside, looked at the willow leaves, then looked outside the car. An old beggar with grey hair and beard was leaning against the wall and taking a nap on the side of the road. Leaf, what are you doing? Liu Yezi ignored Qiao Xiaolang, got off the car and went to a roadside cake shop. After a while, she came out with a bag of hot snacks in her hand and walked up to the old beggar. Qiao Xiaolang got out of the car and leaned against it, looking at it curiously. Liu Yezi handed the snack to the old beggar, who ate it with relish. His cloudy eyes glanced at Qiao Xiaolang inadvertently, giving him a sharp look that disappeared in a flash. At this time, Liu Yezi did something that surprised Qiao Xiaolang. Liu Yezi took out a nail clipper from her bag, pulled the old beggar's dirty hand over, and started cutting his nails. Oh my god, the beautiful CEO of Sigh Group actually cuts the nails of an old beggar herself. Qiao Xiaolang looked at him stupidly, and was very envious of the old beggar. This old guy was so blessed. After cutting the old beggar's nails, Liu Yezi got in the car and returned to the group. As soon as Liu Yezi opened the car door, Qiao Xiaolang said, Yezi, wait a minute. What's the matter? Liu Yezi said coldly, looking away. Qiao Xiaolang stretched out his hand, Yezi, my nails need to be cut too. Liu Yezi wanted to find a kitchen knife to chop off the devil's hand. Roll. Qiao Xiaolang immediately rolled over, rolled to the old beggar, and said with a smile, Old man, I want to eat too, can you have some? The old beggar grinned at Qiao Xiaolang, revealing his golden yellow teeth, and raised his hand to point backwards. You should eat that first. Qiao Xiaolang stood up and turned around. 4 burly men holding iron bars were walking towards him. Not far away stood the greasy-haired guy he had seen in the bar last night. Fengzhi was passing by here with his men on business. He accidentally looked outside the car and saw Qiao Xiaolang. Fengzhi recognized at a glance that this was the brat who had ruined his plans last night, and he couldn't help but get furious. Damn it, he had to teach this bra a lesson. 4 big men wielding iron rods surrounded Qiao Xiaolang aggressively. Chapter 6 Not bad. What are you doing? Qiao Xiaolang looked at them blankly. Beat you. Fengzhi said. Why did you hit me? Because you ruined my good deeds at the bar last night. What good thing have I ruined for you? You took away the beautiful woman that I was about to get. Oh, how did you get it? I won't tell you. Silly, I can guess without you telling me that you put a poisonous black centipede in the drink and then arranged for the bar to. The manager gave the beautiful woman a drink under the pretext of helping her sober up, and then wanted to take her away with him, right? Fengzhi was shocked. This guy looked stupid, how could he know so much? It seemed that he couldn't leave him alive. Otherwise, if this matter gets out, it will be greatly detrimental to the reputation of myself and my family. Thinking of this, Fengzhi laughed sinisterly. Stinky boy, do you know who I am? I know, you have a greasy head. No, my name is Fengzhi. Fengzhi said proudly. He believed that as long as his name was spoken, this kid will definitely be scared to the point of having diarrhea. In Qingcheng, his name is known to everyone, young and old, and anyone who hears it will be terrified. Unexpectedly, Qiao Xiaolang frowned. Is Fengzhi very famous? Fengzhi was stunned. Damn, this kid must have just come from another place and he doesn't even know his own great reputation. I'm the president of Feng Group, and my father's name is Feng Henian. What is the Feng Group? Is it the shit that a madman pulled, so it's called crazy shit? What is Feng Henian? What the hell is this? A big pile of shit. Fengzhi was angry. Fuck you, I'm going to beat the shit out of you today. Qiao Xiaolang frowned again. Wouldn't it be very smelly if the shit was smashed? It would pollute the environment and that would be very bad. It's okay if you don't want to pollute the environment. Just eat it. Fengzhi laughed wildly. At this time, a group of people gathered around to watch the fun. It's over. This young man is alone and weak. He has offended Fengzhi. He must die today. Station behind, don't let blood splash on you later. It's more than just blood. Didn't you hear Fengzhi say he was going to beat the shit out of this young man? Oh, then you have to step back. Be careful not to get your clothes dirty. Qiao Xiaolang suddenly laughed. Fengzhi, remember every word you say, and you will fulfill it soon. HMPH, you're still stubborn even when you're about to die. Go ahead, beat him to death. Fengzhi gave the order. 4 big men swung iron rods that were whizzing in the wind and hit Qiao Xiaolang on the head. Oh my god, the onlookers covered their eyes in fear. It was so scary. 4 iron rods hit a thin body at the same time. The young man was dead. Oh, I'm so scared. Qiao Xiaolang muttered as he quickly walked around the 4 big men, moving his hands quickly. Crackling. Crash. RR. In less than 3 seconds, the 4 big men who were so aggressive just now fell to the ground instantly. 2 of them fainted, and the other 2 rolled on the ground and howled. No one knew where the 4 iron rods flew to. The onlookers were stunned. This young man was too powerful. Before they could see how he made his move, the 4 burly men were knocked down in the blink of an eye. It's fun, it's fun. The old beggar clapped his hands happily. Fengzhi was stunned for a moment. These 4 big men were the top-notch fighters of the Group S security team. How come they had diarrhea just after they took action? Seeing that the situation was not good, Fengzhi started running, but he had not taken a few steps when he was caught up by Qiao Xiaolang, who grabbed him from the back and threw him heavily to the ground. Fengzhi fainted immediately and did not wake up for a long time. Qiao Xiaolang was angry at Fengzhi's despicable behavior of poisoning Liu Yezi last night, so he raised his hand and slapped that pretty face several times. Crackling. Fengzhi's greasy hair turned into a pig's head in an instant. Aren't you going to smash the shit out of me? How can I not help you? Qiao Xiaolang laughed and put some force on his feet. Chapter 7 Awesome. puff, Feng's back door suddenly went out of control, and a hot solid liquid mixture sprayed into his crotch. Wow, it's shit, the onlookers shouted excitedly. If Feng Henian knew the embarrassment his son made today, he would be so angry that he would die. The Feng family is really embarrassed now. Listening to the onlookers' words, Feng really wanted to find a hole in the ground to crawl into. He had always been the one bullying others, so when had he ever suffered such a great humiliation? Qiao Xiaolang looked down at Feng. Master Feng, your feet have been licked and your shit has come out, are you satisfied? What are you asking? I'm asking you. Qiao Xiaolang said with a smile. Feng knew there was only one answer, and if he was not satisfied with the answer, he would have to lick it and shit. Full, satisfied. Qiao Xiaolang nodded with satisfaction, and said, Hey, Master Feng, look at you, what's wrong with you? You're such an adult, but you're so unhygienic. Go home and brush your teeth and change your pants. Feng got up in a panic and ran away with his men. Qiao Xiaolang's voice came from behind him, My name is Qiao Xiaolang, I drive for Sigh Group. Master Feng is welcome to come and have tea with me when you are free to chat about life. Then Qiao Xiaolang bowed to the onlookers and said, Thank you all for coming. The show is over. Let's go now. Everyone left while talking happily. Qiao Xiaolang winked at the old beggar and left too. Qiao Xiaolang went directly to a nearby noodle shop and ordered a bowl of noodles. While they were eating, a middle-aged wicked man with a face full of flesh suddenly rushed in, and a voice came from behind, Catch him. The evil man held a sharp dagger in his hand. He grabbed a girl who was eating noodles, put the dagger to her throat, and shouted at the police who were chasing him, Don't come over, or I will cut her throat. The girl was so frightened that she fainted immediately. In a blink of an eye, all the customers and waiters in the noodle shop ran away, leaving only Qiao Xiaolang eating leisurely. Seeing that the villain had taken someone hostage, the police did not dare to use force and pointed their guns at the villain, and the two sides confronted each other. What's going on? A female police officer came running over, panting. The policewoman looked about 23 or 24 years old, with a great figure and pretty face. She looked particularly dashing in her police uniform. Wow, the beautiful policewoman, it tastes good, not bad. Qiao Xiaolang ate while looking at the policewoman with relish. Jiang Tingting is the deputy captain of the Criminal Police Squadron 7, and this area is her jurisdiction. Seeing the evil man holding hostages, Jiang Tingting was shocked and asked her subordinates a few questions. Then she shouted at the evil man, You just robbed with a knife, and now you are holding hostages. Put down the knife quickly, otherwise you will be guilty of a heavier crime. Bitch, if you dare come over here I'll cut her throat, the evil man shouted. Jiang Tingting didn't dare to move, and rolled her eyes and said, Evil man, as long as you let the girl go, I will let you go. It's a lie. I won't lie to you. Then throw the gun over here. Jiang Tingting was stunned. The evil man was very cunning and she would not be fooled. Jiang Tingting and the others obviously couldn't do this, and the evil man continued to hold the knife to the girl's neck, and the situation came to a stalemate. The girl woke up at this time and started crying in fear. The evil boy became more and more anxious and impatient. Jiang Tingting was very anxious. Seeing Qiao Xiaolang eating noodles with relish, she became suspicious. Hey, all the people in the noodle shop ran away, why is this guy so calm? Is he an accomplice of the bad guy? The evil man also saw Qiao Xiaolang. Hey, brother Dan Ding, get out. Qiao Xiaolang looked up at the evil man in astonishment. Evil man, are you talking to me? Yes, get out. Oh, go away, huh? Okay, go away, mortal world. Qiao Xiaolang stood up with a few toothpicks in his hand, staggered out, and when he passed behind the evil man, he whispered, Evil man, let me tell you something. What's up? In 2 seconds, a good show will begin. What's the show? Someone is going to perform a shaman dance. After saying that, Qiao Xiaolang shook his right hand lightly, and the toothpick in his hand flew out. The evil man suddenly screamed, his buttocks trembled, tightened and contracted violently, and something sharp suddenly drilled into his anus. It hurts, it really hurts. The evil man let go of the hostage and danced wildly with his arms. Jiang Tingting was stunned. She didn't see anything. Why did the evil boy suddenly jump up and down like a monkey? Without thinking too much, Jiang Tingting quickly kicked out with a beautiful move, and the dagger in the evil man's hand was kicked away. Then the others rushed forward and captured the evil man. The policewoman is so amazing. Her calves and feet are so pretty. Qiao Xiaolang praised as he walked out. Just as he reached the door, a hand pressed on Qiao Xiaolang's shoulder. You, stop. Qiao Xiaolang turned around and saw Jiang Tingting sneering at him. Policewoman, do you have something to talk to me about? Qiao Xiaolang said with a smile. Something's going on. Could it be that the policewoman wants to talk to me about life because I'm so handsome? Jiang Tingting was speechless. Damn, I'm on a mission, how can I have time to chat with you about life? Policewoman has really good taste. She can tell at a glance that I am the most handsome man in the world. Are you fascinated by me? Qiao Xiaolang's eyes circled in front of Jiang Tingting. Hey, this place doesn't seem big. Jiang Tingting frowned. This guy is so narcissistic. A guy like him claims to be the most handsome man in the world. Oh. Jiang Tingting smiled and said, I don't want to talk about life with you, nor do I like you. That's impossible. The policewoman must be lying. People who lie are not good. Qiao Xiaolang said seriously. Jiang Tingting was unhappy. I never lie. The policewoman continues to lie. Jiang Tingting was annoyed. Stop talking nonsense and come with me. Where are you going? In the team. What are you going there for? I suspect you are an accomplice of the evil man. Just because I eat noodles, does that mean I'm an accomplice of the evil man? Stop talking nonsense and come back with me first. I don't. Say that again. I won't. Jiang Tingting didn't say anything and reached for the handcuffs at her waist. Chapter 8 Big-Eyed Little Nurse. Qiao Xiaolang suddenly ran away. Jiang Tingting hurriedly chased after him, but Qiao Xiaolang was as fast as a rabbit and ran into an alley in the blink of an eye. When Jiang Tingting ran over, Qiao Xiaolang was nowhere to be seen. Qiao Xiaolang ran out of the alley, looked back to see that Jiang Tingting didn't catch him, and patted his chest. Ouch, I almost got caught by the policewoman. I was so scared. Qiao Xiaolang walked along the road towards the group. As I was walking, I suddenly heard a scream in the middle of the road. An old lady who was crossing the road was hit by a motorcycle. The motorcycle ran away after the accident. The old lady was lying in the middle of the road, unconscious, with blood coming out of her head. A panicked old man was standing next to her. Qiao Xiaolang ran over, picked up the old lady and ran to the nearest hospital. The road was heavily congested and the flowers were already cold by the time the ambulance arrived. When she arrived at the hospital, the aunt was sent to the emergency room. After a while, a masked nurse with big eyes came out and looked at Qiao Xiaolang. The injured person has lost too much blood and urgently needs a transfusion of type A blood. We just ran out of it. Mine is type O. The young nurse nodded. Please follow me. After testing the blood type, the young nurse took out a syringe and prepared to draw blood from Qiao Xiaolang. Qiao Xiaolang's face was filled with fear. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Puff. The young nurse laughed and said softly, Don't be afraid, it won't hurt. It's good that it doesn't hurt. Qiao Xiaolang laughed. Little sister, your big eyes are so pretty. You must be a beauty if you take off your mask. The young nurse blushed and couldn't help but look at Qiao Xiaolang again. After drawing blood, Qiao Xiaolang returned to the door of the emergency room, and the old man came in panting. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Qiao Xiaolang comforted him. The old man nodded and looked at Qiao Xiaolang with gratitude. After a while, a little nurse with big eyes came out from the emergency room. The injured person woke up. Fortunately, he was brought to us in time. If he had been a few minutes later, it would have been too late. Qiao Xiaolang and the old man both breathed a sigh of relief. The young nurse looked at Qiao Xiaolang and said, Thank goodness you gave me a blood transfusion. Are you the son or grandson of the injured person? Guess. Qiao Xiaolang looked at the young nurse with a smile. The little nurse blinked. Grandson. Qiao Xiaolang frowned. Wrong, deduct 50 points. Son. Deduct another 50 points. The young nurse was confused. The old man said at this time, Girl, he and I have no relatives or friends, he is a living Lei Feng who is brave and righteous. The young nurse looked at Qiao Xiaolang with admiration, took off her mask and smiled sweetly at him. She is indeed a beauty, with an oval face, big eyes, a small nose, and very pretty. Qiao Xiaolang stared at the young nurse blankly and murmured, She is indeed a beauty, a beauty in uniform, so charming. The young nurse left with a blushing face. The old man held Qiao Xiaolang's hand and said, "Little brother, thank you for saving my wife. May I ask your name?" "My last name is Qiao and my given name is Xiaolang." What a coincidence, my name is Qiao Xiaobo, we are of the same generation, brother, what a fate." "Oh, monkey shit." After chatting further, I found out that Qiao Xiaobo is a retired professor from Qingcheng University. No wonder he looks so elegant. Professor Qiao, filled with gratitude, immediately addressed Qiao Xiaolang as brother, calling him brother all the time, very warmly. At this time, a middle-aged man came running over, panting, "Dad, how is my mom?" As soon as he saw the man, Qiao Xiaolang grinned. "Isn't this the Mayor Qiao whom he just met in the morning?" It turns out that he is Professor Qiao's son. "Your mother has just escaped from danger," said Professor Qiao. Qiao Sen breathed a sigh of relief. Seeing Qiao Xiaolang, he grabbed his arm and said sternly, "You must be the culprit. Come on, follow me to the traffic police team." Qiao Sen has seen countless people in his daily life, but he didn't recognize Qiao Xiaolang at this time. "Asshole." Professor Qiao slapped Qiao Sen on the head. Qiao Sen was dizzy. "Dad, why did you hit me?" "Foolish guy, he is your mother's savior. He was the one who sent your mother to the hospital." Qiao Sen was stunned, his face full of shame, and he quickly apologized. "Brother, I'm sorry, thank you so much." Professor Qiao hit Qiao Sen on the head again. "Fool, what did you call him?" "I call him brother." Qiao Sen was stunned by his father's beating. "Nonsense, you have to call him uncle." "What? Uncle?" Qiao Sen was completely confused. Professor Qiao said seriously, "My name is Qiao Xiaobo, and his name is Qiao Xiaolang. We are of the same generation. If you don't call him uncle, what should you call him?" "Call him uncle now." Qiao Sen hesitated. This boy looked much younger than himself, and it would be ridiculous to call him uncle. Professor Qiao saw Qiao Sen was hesitating and said angrily, "Fortunately, your uncle sent your mother to the hospital in time. If it was a few minutes later, you wouldn't be able to see your mother, and your uncle also gave your mother a blood transfusion." Qiao Sen was shocked when he heard his father's words. He bowed to Qiao Xiaolang without hesitation and said respectfully, "I am very grateful for your kindness to our family, uncle. I will definitely repay you generously in the future. I was rude just now, so please bear with me." Qiao Xiaolang acted like an elder and patted Qiao Sen on the shoulder affectionately. "Nephew, there is no need to be polite. We are family and we don't have to talk behind each other's backs. It is natural for me to help my sister-in-law when she is in danger." Qiao Sen nodded with emotion. "May I ask where my uncle works?" Just as Qiao Xiaolang was about to talk about their meeting in the morning, a text message came on his phone. He saw that Liu Yezi was going out. Qiao Xiaolang bowed and said, "Brother, nephew, I have something to do, so I'll leave first. Let's talk later." After Qiao Xiaolang finished speaking, he turned and left. Professor Qiao's voice came from behind him. "Hey, brother, you haven't called me yet." Qiao Xiaolang trotted back to the group and saw Liu Yezi waiting in front of the car. Seeing Qiao Xiaolang, Liu Yezi's face changed. "Why is there so much blood on your clothes? Where have you been?" Those who were watching the fight had blood splattered on them. Liu Yezi snorted and said, "With your small stature, you can only watch." Chapter 9: Who Kidnapped? Liu Yezi then got on the car and ran around to the subordinate unit in the suburbs for the whole afternoon, and only returned to the city after dark. "Boss, go home directly." Willow Leaf nodded. Liu Yezi lives in Haojing Garden, the top luxury residential area in Qingcheng. "Boss, your villa must be very big, right?" Willow Leaf rolled her eyes. "What does this have to do with you? I think if your villa is spacious, I can move in with you. It will be much more convenient to pick you up and drop you off at get-off work every day." Liu Yezi curled her lips. She was going to leave tomorrow. She was still dreaming about living in a big villa. Go ahead and dream on. Because she felt lonely, Liu Yezi and her best friend Jiang Tingting shared a 4-bedroom, 2-living-room house. At this time, Liu Yezi's cell phone rang. Qiao Xiaolang glanced at the caller's name, Jiang Tingting. "Yi, I'm working overtime tonight and will be home late. You don't have to wait for me for dinner." "Good. By the way, think about the details of your kidnapping a few days ago and tell me when you get home tonight. I will continue to investigate." Jiang Tingting had a loud voice and Qiao Xiaolang heard it. Qiao Xiaolang immediately recognized that the voice was very similar to the policewoman he met in the noodle shop during the day. Oh, it turns out that the policewoman's name is Jiang Tingting, and she and Liu Yezi are best friends who live together. Liu Yezi put away her phone with a heavy heart. Yezi, who wants to kidnap you? None of your business. It's always okay to ask. Do I need Tingting to check if I want to know? Liu Yezi was very impatient. Who do you think is most likely? Are you annoying? Don't bother, just tell me the reasoning. If you just accept it, there might be a next time. Liu Yezi felt that what Qiao Xiaolang said made sense, so she mentioned a few names, one of which was the Hua group. What does Hua's group do? Ranked second among the 4 major groups in Qingcheng. Who's number 1? Phone group. Do you have a conflict with the Hua group? The Hua group wanted a piece of land from us. President Hua Chao approached me many times, but I didn't agree. What was the kidnapping like? That day after dinner, I was walking in front of the community gate. A blue unlicensed van suddenly stopped beside me. Several people got out of the van and put me in the van. I struggled and screamed. The community security guards heard the noise and came over, and they ran away. Is it that simple? How complicated do you think it can be? Liu Yezi rolled her eyes at Qiao Xiaolang. Qiao Xiaolang smiled and said, yes, a blue unlicensed van. I'll remember it. When they arrived at the gate of Haijing Garden, Liu Yezi was about to get out of the car, but Qiao Xiaolang stretched out his hand again. Yezi, I haven't cut my nails yet. How about I go to your house and get it cut? Liu Yezi was going crazy. Get out of here. Qiao Xiaolang drove away immediately. The next day at work, Liu Yezi called Milan into the office. Milan is a little older than Liu Ye, and has a good personal relationship with Liu Ye. She has a plump figure and fair and tender skin. Sister Lan, please fire Qiao Xiaolang today. Milan was a little surprised. What? Qiao Xiaolang was rude to you? When Milan first dealt with Qiao Xiaolang yesterday, he felt that he was very evil. His eyes were lingering on the curves in front of her body, and he asked maliciously whether it was natural or artificial. Liu Yezi didn't want Milan to know more. She was the president of Sigh Group, the most beautiful woman in Qingcheng, the goddess admired by countless celebrities and rich men, but she was actually raped by a young driver and was forced to kiss him in public. How could she live her life if this got out? Qiao Xiaolang certainly didn't dare to do anything to me. I just saw that he was lazy and lacked positive energy. I felt that if he stayed in the group, it would be a disaster sooner or later. It would be better to fire him as soon as possible. Milan frowned slightly. Boss Liu, firing him just because of this is too far-fetched. I don't care. I don't want to see him again. Liu Yezi said angrily. After listening to Liu Yezi's words, Milan guessed that Qiao Xiaolang must have done something to annoy Liu Yezi, but she just didn't want to say it. Okay, I'll think of a reason. At this time, the landline phone on the desk rang. Seeing that it was a caller, Liu Yezi picked up the phone and hung up directly. It's Xu Wenjing again. He keeps calling me from morning till night. Isn't it annoying? Although Xu Wenjing was handsome, well-spoken, and wealthy, Liu Yezi just had no feelings for him and always felt that he was missing something. Xu Wenjing did not give up and called again and again. Helplessly, Liu Yezi answered the phone and said calmly, Mr. Xu, is there anything wrong? Yezi, I'm holding a private party at the mansion tonight. All the people coming are the celebrities of Qingcheng. You must come. Sorry, I'm not free tonight. Don't make excuses. You are here as my girlfriend tonight. I want to formally introduce you to everyone. Mr. Xu, please be careful with your words. I'm not your girlfriend. Yezi, I only like you and I must be your boyfriend. Give up on this idea. I have a boyfriend. Liu Yezi said casually. You are talking about the young driver in front of the city hall yesterday, right? Humph, I know you found me and you did it on purpose to test me, but I don't believe it. Liu Yezi was stunned. It turned out that Xu Wenjing had seen what happened yesterday. Since you have seen it, it is up to you to believe it or not. Unless you bring your boyfriend over tonight, I will never give up pursuing you. Okay, then you just wait. Liu Yezi hung up the phone in annoyance, and then felt confused. She just wanted Xu Wenjing to give up, so she casually said that she had a boyfriend. She didn't expect Xu Wenjing to refuse to give up until she saw Huang He. What should she do? Thinking of the embarrassing scene in front of the city government, Liu Yezi frowned. How should she deal with this hurdle tonight? Should we just let him? Liu Yezi immediately shook her head, but she really couldn't think of anyone who could play this role. After thinking it over, Liu Yi let out a long sigh. It seemed that this was the only way. Chapter 10 Strong Thinking. Milan was about to go out, and Liu Yezi said, "Sister Lan, wait a minute." Milan stopped and looked at Willow Leaf. "Qiao Xiaolang won't open it for now, ask him to come over." Milan was very surprised. Liu Yezi had always been decisive in doing things, so why was she so indecisive today? At this time, Qiao Xiaolang was sitting on the windowsill of the fleet office, looking at a yellowed black and white photo in his hand. In the photo, a girl with pigtails about 4 years old was smiling sweetly at him. This girl is the Master's daughter. Her nickname is Shanshan and her real name is unknown. Qiao Xiaolang and his master Lu Feng live on Xiaoyao Island, which is far away from the mainland and isolated from the world. Although it is called Xiaoyao Island, it is actually a deserted island full of poisonous insects and wild beasts. There are only Lu Feng and him on the island. On the deserted Xiaoyao Island, Qiao Xiaolang learned how to survive in the harsh environment. At the same time, he learned from Lu Feng himself and mastered a set of peerless martial arts. 20 years later, Lu Feng let him come to the mainland to explore the world and find out the whereabouts of his wife and daughter who had been separated for 20 years. Before going down the mountain, Lu Feng mentioned a shocking case that happened in Qingcheng 20 years ago. Lu Feng and his wife and daughter were separated at that time. It was at that time that Lu Feng rescued him from the river that ran through Qingcheng and brought him to Xiaoyao Island. He was only 1 year old at that time. Whether this was a coincidence or not, Qiao Xiaolang didn't know because Lu Feng's description was very vague. Somehow, Qiao Xiaolang felt that he had an inseparable connection with Qingcheng, so he came here. Qiao Xiaolang was in a daze when Milan came. Qiao Xiaolang put away the photo, jumped off the windowsill, and looked at Milan with a smile. "Qiao Xiaolang, come with me to Mr. Liu's office," Milan said and turned to leave. After entering Liu Yezi's office, Milan walked out. Liu Yezi said coldly, "Qiao Xiaolang, from now on, you are the assistant to the president of Sigh Group." "Wow, it's so fast." Qiao Xiaolang happily gave Liu Yi a thumbs up. "Yezi, you really have a good eye for talent." Liu Yezi sighed in her heart, and said coldly, "Although you are an assistant, you still have to continue driving. So, as an assistant, I am only responsible for myself." "Yes. Boss, you are wasting talent," Qiao Xiaohai said aggrievedly. Liu Yizi was angry. "Qiao Xiaolang, can you be a little self-aware? What kind of talent are you? Do you understand business and management?" "I don't understand." "I can't." "Then why are you talking so much nonsense?" Qiao Xiaolang sighed. "Well, it seems that this is the only way. I'm going to a party tonight. You're coming with me as... What is it? Boyfriend." After saying that, Liu Yezi wanted to cry. "Wow, that's great, it's a double happiness today." Qiao Xiaolang rubbed his hands with joy. Liu Yezi looked at Qiao Xiaolang coldly. "Don't be so cocky, you're just a fake boyfriend. Fake ones are so boring. Even though it's fake, we have to make it look real when we get there. How can it be true?" Liu Yezi grunted for a long time. "I don't know, but you can't do anything rash." Qiao Xiaolang grinned and said, "Since you are my boyfriend, I have to behave properly. It will not be up to you then." Qiao Xiaolang left happily. Liu Yi sighed repeatedly. She didn't expect that she would be forced to this point and had to ask the devil to attend tonight's party as her boyfriend. Life. Jiang Tingting parked the car in front of the Sigh Group building, walked up the stairs, and came out of patrol because she was thirsty, so she went to Yizi to drink some water. As soon as she entered the hall, Jiang Tingting saw Qiao Xiaolang at a glance. He was leaning in front of the reception counter and chatting excitedly with a little girl. "Hey, isn't he this the guy who ran away yesterday?" "Hey, stop!" Jiang Tingting shouted and chased after him. When Qiao Xiaolang turned around, oh no, the policewoman was here. He was so scared. Qiao Xiaolang ran into the stairwell. Jiang Tingting chased in and climbed up the stairs. After crawling for a long time, he heard a strange laugh above his head. He looked up and saw Qiao Xiaolang making a face at him. Then he disappeared in a flash. Jiang Tingting rushed directly into Liu Yezi's office. Liu Yi, who was in a daze, was stunned when she saw Jiang Tingting rushing in. Yi Zi, there are bad guys in the building. Quickly notify the security guards to seal off the building. It turned out that Tingting was catching the bad guys, and Liu Yezi hurriedly picked up the phone. Jiang Tingting suddenly heard laughter behind her. Turning around, she saw Qiao Xiaolang sitting on the sofa with his legs crossed. Bad guy, don't move. Jiang Tingting flew over. Chapter 11. See it. Liu Yezi was very surprised at this time. Tingting, Qiao Xiaolang, what are you doing? Jiang Tingting was stunned. Yi Zi, do you know this guy? He is my new driver. Liu Yezi smiled bitterly. Not only a driver, but also the president's assistant and boyfriend. Qiao Xiaolang corrected proudly. Huh? Jiang Tingting looked at Liu Yezi with wide eyes. Yi Zi, is this true? You have a boyfriend? How come I didn't know? Jiang Tingting would never believe that Liu Yezi would fall in love with the guy in front of her. The willow leaf had no place to vent its pain and could only remain silent. Qiao Xiaolang came over and said, Policewoman, there are many things you don't know. Qiao Xiaolang, shut up. Liu Yezi interrupted Qiao Xiaolang. Qiao Xiaolang knew that Liu Yezi was worried that he would tell her about the detoxification the night before, so he said to Jiang Tingting in a serious tone, besides, Yezi and I just confirmed our relationship. Yezi is so rich that I can't spend all my money if I rely on her for my whole life. Why would I team up with the evil guy to rob? Willow Leaf breathed a sigh of relief. Jiang Tingting thought this made sense, but when she looked at Liu Yi, she felt something was wrong, so she said to Qiao Xiaolang, your boyfriend must be fake. Whether it's true or not is not important. You just need to know that I'm not a bad person. Have you interrogated that evil man? Does he and I know each other? Qiao Xiaolang asked back. Jiang Tingting was speechless for a moment. That was true. The evil man didn't reveal that he had an accomplice. Qiao Xiaolang laughed, and his laugh was very proud. Liu Yezi understood that Jiang Tingting suspected that Qiao Xiaolang was an accomplice of the bad guys. Jiang Tingting drank a glass of water and left angrily. As soon as Jiang Tingting left, the furious Liu Yezi picked up the glass on the table and threw it at Qiao Xiaolang. Qiao Xiaolang, you bastard, you ruined my reputation. Qiao Xiaolang hurried out, and the sound of glass breaking rang out behind him. At 7 o'clock in the evening, Liu Yezi and Qiao Xiaolang appeared at Shu Mansion. The Shu Mansion is located on the riverside outside the city. It has an elegant environment and luxurious decoration. At this moment, there are many luxury cars parked in front of the mansion. Liu Yezi's BMW worth 2 million yuan looks very low-key among them. At this time, Qiao Xiaolang was wearing a suit, shiny leather shoes, and had greasy hair. He looked very handsome, just like Jack, the male protagonist in Titanic. Liu Yezi took him to get this outfit in the afternoon, and it cost Liu Yezi more than 100,000 yuan. Seeing Qiao Xiaolang at this time, for some reason, Liu Yi's heart moved slightly. Clothes make the man, and the devil really looks like that after being dressed up. But Liu Yezi immediately reminded herself that this was a fake boyfriend, a devil, and she must not take him seriously. When they reached the gate of the mansion, Qiao Xiaolang stretched out his right arm. Hold on. Liu Yezi hesitated for a moment and then took Qiao Xiaolang's arm. Now that you are here, you have to continue the show. Qiao Xiaolang pushed the door open with Liu Yizi in a proud manner. Many people came into their hall. The men were dressed in suits and looked very handsome, while the women were elegant, graceful, charming and reserved. Seeing Liu Yizi and Qiao Xiaolang, Xu Wenjing came over. Seeing Liu Yi holding Qiao Xiaolang's arm like a little bird, Xu Wenjing felt sad. He recognized Qiao Xiaolang. Could this guy really be Liu Yezi's boyfriend? Xu Wenjing frowned. It was impossible. With the appearance of Willow Leaf, the women in the hall who had been so gorgeous just now were suddenly eclipsed, as if a colorful phoenix had fallen from a flock of crows. The men's eyes were attracted by the willow leaves and they exclaimed in admiration. In addition to looking at Liu Yizi with jealous eyes, the women also kept looking at Qiao Xiaolang. Yeah, Liu Yezi has a boyfriend. Wow, this guy is so handsome, just like my idol Leonardo. Qiao Xiaolang happily put his arm around Liu Yi's shoulders and waved to everyone. Good evening, everyone. Xu Wenjing was jealous, his eyes rolled, and he said loudly, let me introduce you to everyone, this lady is Liu Yezi, the president of Sigh Group, and this man is Yezi's driver, just a small driver. Xu Wenjin particularly emphasized Qiao Xiaolang's identity as a driver, and everyone was surprised. Seeing everyone's expressions, Xu Wenjin smiled happily. Liu Yizi was very embarrassed, but Qiao Xiaolang was very calm and said loudly, Mr. Xu's introduction just now was not specific. Let me add that my name is Qiao Xiaolang. In addition to being Yizi's driver, I am also the president assistant of Sigh Group. Of course, the most important identity is Yizi's boyfriend. So is Mr. Liu's assistant, a senior executive of the group. To be the CEO's assistant at such a young age, you must be very capable. To be able to be Mr. Liu's boyfriend, I wonder which famous family he comes from. Everyone was talking about it. Xu Wenjing said to Liu Yizi, Yizi, I know you are deliberately being angry with me. Although this young driver keeps saying that he is your boyfriend, I believe he must be a fake. Liu Yizi felt guilty and didn't say anything. Qiao Xiaolang smiled slightly, Boss Xu, you won't give up until you see the Yellow River. Right. Then let me show you. Qiao Xiaolang hugged Liu Yizi. There was a sudden burst of exclamations in the hall, some were excited, some were envious, and some were angry. Xu Wenjin's face flushed red, this was too much. Liu Yizi didn't expect Qiao Xiaolang to be so bold. She was very shy, so she raised her fist and hit Qiao Xiaolang, but Qiao Xiaolang just thought it was a tickle. Liu Yizi was very embarrassed, but there was nothing she could do about it. She could just use this opportunity to make Xu Wenjing give up on her. Wow, this is so exciting. A girl in white casual clothes rushed down from upstairs and went straight to Qiao Xiaolang. Chapter 12 I'll let you die too. Xu Chan has a pretty face, a slim figure and long legs. Qiao Xiaolang met her when he was learning to drive. Xu Chan is Xu Wenjing's sister and the vice president of Jingtai Group. Qiao Xiaolang was not surprised to see Xu Chan. When he parked his car at the door, he saw Xu Chan's Bentley parked there, and he guessed the relationship between Xu Chan and Xu Wenjin. Xiaolanglang, let's give him a kiss too, moir. Xu Chan hugged Qiao Xiaolang and kissed him directly on the face. After kissing the big beauty, Qiao Xiaolang was kissed by the little beauty again. He felt very comfortable, but said modestly, Hey, don't be like this, I'm so embarrassed. Everyone was stunned by the scene before them. Xu Chan let go of Qiao Xiaolang and said with a smile, Xiaolanglang, when did you get involved with Sister Yi? In a few days. I would have let you die if I had known, but it's not too late now. Okay, I'll take all the orders. Liu Yizi came down from upstairs and saw the lipstick marks on Qiao Xiaolang's face. She also saw Qiao Xiaolang flirting passionately with Xu Chan and couldn't help but get angry. Qiao Xiaolang's identity today is his boyfriend, but he is flirting with Xu Chan. Isn't this deliberately embarrassing himself? Seeing Liu Yizi, Xu Chan went over and held her arm affectionately. Sister Yizi, how did you let Xiaolanglang hang it? Teach me, I want to let Xiaolanglang hang it too. Liu Yi felt dizzy, and Xu Chan actually took the initiative to throw herself into the arms of the devil. At this time, the host announced the start of the cocktail party, the band played beautiful melodies, and everyone raised their glasses and chatted and laughed. Liu Yizi and Xu Chan were chatting and laughing about something, while Xu Wenjing was having a loud conversation with a few rich young men with slicked back hair and powdered faces. In this situation, Qiao Xiaolang felt that he was a little redundant, so he walked out of the hall and took a walk along the river in front of the mansion. Soon, 5 young men with greasy hair and powdered faces came over, all with arrogant expressions. The leader is Hu Chao, the president of Hu Group and also an avid pursuer of Liu Yizi. Hu Chao is tall and looks very strong. Hey, little driver, are you worthy of being Yizi's boyfriend? Hu Chao said in a mocking tone. Mr. Hua, beat him up and let him steal our limelight tonight. Yes, throw him into the river to feed the fish. The other few men with greasy hair and powdered faces echoed the sentiment. Hearing Hu Chao's name, Qiao Xiaolang couldn't help but look at him again. Well, this guy is the suspect of kidnapping Liu Yizi. Do you really want to do this? Qiao Xiaolang frowned. Tonight he came here as Liu Yizi's boyfriend, and at the cocktail party hosted by Xu Chan's brother, Qiao Xiaolang did not intend to make a big deal out of it, as that would be difficult to explain to both Liu Yizi and Xu Chan. Nonsense, do you think we are afraid of you? Hu Chao said arrogantly. But you will definitely regret it. Qiao Xiaolang said seriously. Fuck, you're going to regret this. Hu Chao spat and suddenly kicked towards Qiao Xiaolang with his long legs. Qiao Xiaolang stood there without moving, staring stupidly at Hua Chao's long legs kicking towards him. Hua Chao was secretly delighted, thinking that his powerful long legs would surely sweep the kid into the river, and then he would call everyone out to watch the kid's miserable appearance. Just when the long legs were about to sweep Qiao Xiaolang moved his body slightly and the long legs missed. However, Hua Chao did not stop his body and rushed into the river due to inertia. Plop. Mr. Hua has fallen into the river, hurry up and save him. The other 4 people shouted loudly, but no one dared to jump. Oh no, someone went to the river to feed the fish. That's bad. Qiao Xiaolang also shouted and quickly shuttled around the 4 people. In a blink of an eye, they disappeared. Plop, plop. All fell into the river. Help, help! 5 greasy-haired and powdered-faced guys were floundering in the river and shouting. Hey, are you feeding the fish or catching fish? Qiao Xiaolang squatted on the shore and watched happily. The servants of the mansion heard the noise and rushed over. Someone rowed a boat over and it took them a long time to fish them out. Hearing that someone had fallen into the river, Xu Wenjin hurried out. When Liu Yezi saw that Qiao Xiaolang was not in the hall, her heart skipped a beat and she hurried out. When he came out, he saw 5 wet people lying side by side on the lawn. Qiao Xiaolang was stepping on their stomachs one by one. Every time he stepped on them, the people being stepped on would spray out water. What happened? Xu Wenjin looked at Qiao Xiaolang. I don't know. Ask them. Hua Chao had no words to express his pain, and he got up in a panic. I was taking a walk by the river, and I accidentally slipped into the river. In order to save me, they also fell in. Of course Hua Chao couldn't say that he fell into the water because he kicked Qiao Xiaolang, that would be too embarrassing. After hearing what Hua Chao said, the other 4 people felt that they had become heroes who bravely stood up for justice. Since Hua Chao offered this hat, they just accepted it and nodded. In fact, the 4 people were very confused. They were clearly standing on the shore and had no intention of jumping into the river to save Hua Chao. Suddenly, they felt a strong wind coming, and their bodies lost control and fell into the river. Seeing that Qiao Xiaolang was fine, Liu Yezi breathed a sigh of relief. Qiao Xiaolang walked over and hugged Liu Yezi's shoulders. Yezi, I'm fine, don't worry. I'm not worried about you. Liu Yezi shook off Qiao Xiaolang's arm and turned to go inside. Xiaolanglang, I'm worried about you. Xu Chan pulled Qiao Xiaolang's arm and put it on her shoulder, looking at Qiao Xiaolang in a flattering manner. Hua Chao nodded to Qiao Xiaolang. Okay, little driver, I'll remember you. After saying that, Hua Chao walked inside. Hey, my name is Qiao Xiaolang, Liu Yezi's boyfriend. You must remember him. Qiao Xiaolang said to Hua Chao's back. Xu Chan said, no, you are still my boyfriend. Qiao Xiaolang frowned. Xu Chan, your brother will be unhappy if you say that. He has no right to control who I like. I'm already in a relationship. What does this have to do with me? Don't say you're just Sister Yi's boyfriend. So what if you're her husband? Qiao Xiaolang grinned. This kid is quite capable. Xu Wenjin was very angry when he saw Xu Chan and Qiao Xiaolang flirting with each other again, but he was also moved. Chapter 13 Coming in Group. Qiao Xiaolang and Xu Chan stayed outside for a while before returning to their hall. Xu Wenjing had already arranged for someone to find dry clothes for Hua Chao and the others to change into, and the cocktail party continued. Hua Chao looked at Qiao Xiaolang angrily. This bastard driver not only kissed the Liu Yizi he had always dreamed of, but also made him look bad. He had to vent his anger. Hua Chao took out his cell phone and made a call. Qiao Xiaolang glanced at Hua Chao, picked up the wine glass and took a sip, then said to Xu Chan, how are your driving skills lately? Xu Chan pouted, it's okay. My driver's license was revoked twice because of speeding. I haven't driven fast for a long time. Want to play tonight? Okay, how do we play? Shall we race? That's great. Xu Chan became excited. I'm a very good driver now. Qiao Xiaolang said proudly. I don't agree. I want to make a bet with you. Can. How do you place the bet? If I lose, I'll kiss you. If you lose, I'll kiss me. Okay? Okay, where do you want to kiss me? Kiss wherever you want. Make a deal. Xu Chan then happily went to find Liu Yizi and talked about the bet she had made with Qiao Xiaolang. Liu Yizi felt dizzy after hearing this. Qiao Xiaolang had extended his claws to Xu Chan. He would not suffer any loss whether he won or lost. This was a very shrewd calculation. Shuchan, don't bet with him. If you lose, you will suffer a loss, and if you win, you won't gain an advantage. No, we've already made the deal, Sister Yi, why should I suffer a loss? Shuchan looked naive. Liu Yizi was speechless. Is Shuchan mentally retarded? Sister Yi, are you jealous? Liu Yizi felt dizzy again. She was jealous of the devil, but she was still drinking soy sauce. Seeing Qiao Xiaolang sitting at the bar and drinking red wine guzzlingly, Liu Yizi couldn't help but walk over. How can you drink red wine like this? You're useless. Liu Yizi said coldly. Qiao Xiaolang smiled and said, Yizi, I'm very thirsty now. I need to drink some red wine to give me courage. What has hunger and thirst got to do with courage? Of course there is. How can you do it if you don't have the courage? How can you solve your hunger and thirst without doing it? Qiao Xiaolang said seriously. Liu Yizi understood what Qiao Xiaolang meant. Could it be that the devil wanted to attack her again tonight? A huge wave of fear surged in Liu Yizi's heart. No, she couldn't give the devil a chance tonight. No, not just tonight, but never again. At this time Shuchan came over again. Looking at Shuchan, Liu Yizi suddenly had an idea. Shuchan, you and Qiao Xiaolang are racing tonight, can I be the referee? Okay. Liu Yizi thought for a while and said, how about this? The race route is from the mansion to Haojing Garden where I live. The first one to arrive wins. Hong Kong Garden is 20 kilometers away. Okay, I will definitely win. Sister Yi, you can take my car. This way we can get home faster. Shuchan's words hit the mark exactly what Liu Yizi wanted, and she quickly agreed. Qiao Xiaolang wanted to attack her tonight, and he drank so much, so it was safer to take Shuchan's car, double insurance. Liu Yizi felt relieved. The cocktail party was over and everyone started to leave. Hua Chao walked out quickly, feeling very proud. The people I called were waiting for him at the intersection, and he was going to beat up that bastard driver tonight. After beating up the young driver, the willow leaves in the car will be yours, hee hee. Hua Chao left with peace of mind. When most of the people had left, Liu Yizi got into Shuchan's car. Set off. Shuchan stepped on the accelerator and the Bentley rushed out. Sister Yi, I will definitely be there first. Qiao Xiaolang smiled, everything was going according to his plan. Qiao Xiaolang started the car and drove out of Shu Mansion. Not far away, a Land Rover caught up. Hua Chao was sitting in the Land Rover. There were two burly men in the car. They were the coaches he had just invited from the Liuhe gang over the phone. With these two coaches, Hua Chao felt that tonight was safe and began to think about how to take Liu Yizi away after beating up Qiao Xiaolang. Hua Chao thought happily, it seems like tonight was a blessing in disguise. Qiao Xiaolang turned on the car stereo while driving, come on, come on, come on. After driving about 5 kilometers, Qiao Xiaolang looked in the rearview mirror and saw 4 Land Rovers behind him. Hey, they came in a group. So lively. The 3 Land Rovers that came later were occupied by Feng Zhe's men. The ones he invited tonight were the 8 iron hands of the Tiger Head gang. The fists of these 8 iron hands were as hard as cast iron and their punches were extremely ruthless. Every thug on Qingcheng Road trembled when they heard their names. Feng Zhe was thinking in the car that with the 8 iron hands around, Qiao Xiaolang would definitely die tonight, and then he would take the willow leaves in the car to the Feng mansion to savor them carefully. At this time, Liu Yizi was sitting in Shuchan's speeding Bentley. Shuchan looked at the rearview mirror proudly, Sister Yizi, Xiaolanglang was left behind by me. Liu Yizi felt more at ease, knowing that the devil would definitely not be able to quench his thirst with her tonight. Qiao Xiaolang slowed down at a construction site, and then a Land Rover overtook the BMW and forced it to stop. Qiao Xiaolang opened the car door, and the other Land Rovers also stopped. Feng Zhe, Hua Chao, the 8 iron hands, and the 2 coaches all got out of the car. When Qiao Xiaolang took a look, he found that they really came in a group. He was so scared. Qiao Xiaolang ran away. Don't let this kid get away, chase him. Qiao Xiaolang ran to the empty space at the construction site and stopped. Well, this place is nice, it's empty everywhere. Chapter 14 met an opponent. The 8 iron hands and 2 coaches quickly surrounded Qiao Xiaolang. Feng Zhe and Hua Chao greeted each other warmly. Mr. Hua, we will meet here. Mr. Feng, you don't need a butcher knife to kill a chicken. Let your men take a rest and let my men take over. That won't work. My people are very enthusiastic about fighting. We can't come here in vain. Qiao Xiaolang blinked. Since you are so enthusiastic, let's go together. I think this guy's suggestion is worth considering. That's it, then. By the way, Mr. Phone, are you going to kill me or cripple me tonight? Just smash it to death. I think it's more fun to cripple him. That would make his life worse than death. Well, Master Hua, your idea is not bad. Let's break both of his legs. No, 3 of them, including his calf. Har har, okay, let's do it this way. Qiao Xiaolang sighed. You guys are so bad, life would be so boring without Xiao's hori. Hey, this guy is scared. It's too late to be afraid. Come on, Mr. Hua, have a cigarette first. Mr. Foam, let's make a deal first. After I beat this guy, the beauty in the car will be mine. Mr. Hua, your words are not very nice. I have wanted to get the willow leaf for a long time. Qiao Xiaolang was angry. Although Liu Yezi hated him, he was Liu Yezi's boyfriend. How dare these 2 guys talk about this in front of him? It was so abominable. Feng Zhe and Hua Chao argued for a long time and neither of them was willing to give in. Hua Chao got annoyed and said, "We'll divide the fruits of victory after the fight. Go ahead." At the command, the 8 iron hands and the 2 coaches waved their extremely powerful iron fists and rushed towards Qiao Xiaolang, all wanting to be the first to knock Qiao Xiaolang down. The air was filled with bloody murderous aura. Qiao Xiaolang chuckled, jumped up, and with a series of kicks, he kicked the heads of the 2 coaches who were in the front. The 2 coaches fell to the ground before they could even say a word, and could not get up anymore. As soon as he landed, Qiao Xiaolang raised his fists to meet the heavy punches from the 2 iron hands. Bang snap. The 2 iron hands retreated more than 10 meters, their bodies swayed a few times, and they barely stood, but they couldn't lift their arms. The heavy punch turned into a ball of blood and the arm was broken. Qiao Xiaolang then grabbed the wrist of one of the iron hands and shook it hard. Click click. 2 screams in succession. The wrists of the 2 iron hands were twisted off. There were still 4 iron hands left, and Qiao Xiaolang swept them over with a kick. Puff puff. Snap snap. With the creepy sound of breaking bones, the 4 iron hands fell to the ground immediately. It took Qiao Xiaolang less than 20 seconds to complete all of this. The 8 iron hands and 2 coaches were knocked down by Qiao Xiaolang in less than 20 seconds. Oh my god, that's horrible. Feng Zhe and Hua Chao were terrified and wanted to run, but their 4 legs were shaking so much that they couldn't move a step. Qiao Xiaolang snorted and walked over. Is it fun? Fun, no. No. The 2 guys' teeth were chattering and they didn't know what they wanted to say. Is it fun? No. It's fun. Why play if it's not fun? Qiao Xiaolang grabbed one with each hand and raised his arm, and the 2 guys were easily lifted up. Then Qiao Xiaolang threw the 2 guys to the ground and beat them hard like playing with rag dolls. At first there were miserable howlings, but soon they became silent. The 2 guys were thrown to the ground like dead dogs, covered with bruises and passed out. After enough fighting, Qiao Xiaolang clapped his hands and left, driving to Haojing Garden. Shuchan and Liu Yizi were waiting for him beside the Bentley. Qiao Xiaolang got out of the car and walked over. Little stray, I win. Shuchan said proudly. That's great, really great. Qiao Xiaolang gave a thumbs up. If you lose you have to kiss me, come on. Shuchen tilted her face up and pouted her little lips. Where do you want to kiss? Well, kiss here. Shuchen pointed at her little mouth. I don't. No, don't fool me by kissing my forehead with your own hands. You are so bad. Shuchen said in a delicate voice. What's wrong? Are you going to cheat? No, but Sister Yi is watching us. I feel so embarrassed. Liu Yezi is going crazy, this pervert. Liu Yezi's body was covered with goosebumps. She turned around and ran towards the community. She thought it was best to run away. Yi Zi, don't run. Qiao Xiaolang called her from behind. Willow Leaf ran even more happily. Shuchan saw that there was no one around and closed her eyes excitedly. As soon as Liu Yezi ran away, Qiao Xiaolang lost interest and stretched out his index finger to flick Shuchan's body lightly. Okay. Qiao Xiaolang said. Shuchen opened her eyes, kiss. Why don't I feel like that? Qiao Xiaolang found that he had met his match. Chapter 15 The Devil Goes Crazy. The next morning, Qiao Xiaolang drove to pick up Liu Yezi for work. Liu Yezi was still thinking about drinking milk last night. Last night, did you really drink? Willow Leaf giggled. What to drink? Milk. Perverted and shameless. Willow Leaf's body was covered with goosebumps again. Shu-chan had not escaped Qiao Xiaolang's clutches after all. It was too horrible to keep such a pervert by her side. She had to make him go away today no matter what, not even a minute longer. Yi, are you jealous? Qiao Xiaolang smiled innocently. Will I be jealous? The devil is really self-indulgent. Since Liu Yezi has made a decision, she calmed down and said lightly, Qiao Xiaolang, from today, no, from now on, your career as a fake boyfriend is over. Oh, you got hired so quickly. Make me a regular employee. We have no relationship now. You are no longer my assistant. Send me to the group. After you settle your salary for the next few days, you can find another job. Yi, are you going to chase me away? Yes. The president always keeps his word. Right. If it wasn't because of that party last night, you would have fired me yesterday, right? You suddenly promoted me to the position of CEO assistant. Are you trying to make use of my last remaining energy? Liu Yezi didn't say anything, but began to feel uneasy. At this time, Liu Yezi's cell phone rang. She saw that it was a call from the city government's landline. Liu Yezi hurriedly answered the phone. It was from Qiao Sen's secretary. Boss Liu, Mayor Qiao asked me to inform you that after research, we have decided to give the 4 billion project to Phone Group. Liu Yizi was dumbfounded. She had spent more than half a year's hard work on this 4 billion project. When she talked to Mayor Qiao the day before yesterday, he agreed very readily. Unexpectedly, the Phone Group suddenly appeared in the middle, and she did not expect Mayor Qiao to suddenly change his mind. Qiao Xiaolang heard the voice on the phone clearly. The secretary hung up after he finished speaking. Liu Yezi felt hopeless and threw her phone onto the dashboard. Damn it, it was all over. All my efforts for half a year were in vain. Qiao Xiaolang pulled over, took Liu Yezi's phone and called back. Liu Yezi looked at Qiao Xiaolang. What are you going to do? Qiao Xiaolang ignored Liu Yezi and the call was quickly connected. Ask Qiao Sen to answer the phone. Qiao Xiaolang said in a straightforward tone. Liu Yizi looked at Qiao Xiaolang in surprise and suspicion. The devil was crazy. He actually called the mayor by his name and asked him to answer the phone. Who are you? The other party asked. Just tell Qiao Sen that my name is Qiao Xiaolang. After a moment, Qiao Sen's respectful voice came from the phone. Hello, uncle. Qiao Xiaolang smiled and said, by the way, I didn't have time to tell you that day that we had actually met before. Uncle, that is. Do you remember the last time you met with Mr. Liu from Sigh Group and I shook your hand? Oh, I remember now. I'm so sorry. I met so many people that I didn't recognize my uncle in the hospital that day. It turns out that my uncle is Mr. Liu's driver. In fact, I am not only Ms. Liu's driver, but also her boyfriend and assistant. Liu Yezi was annoyed and reached out to grab the phone. Qiao Xiaolang held Liu Yezi down to prevent her from moving. Liu Yezi was so angry that she rolled her eyes. Is that so? Qiao Sen was surprised. Yes. Then what my uncle meant by calling me is. I want to ask about the 4 billion project that Yizi discussed with you the other day. How is it going? This. What? Are you in a difficult situation? It's okay, just pretend I didn't call you. I promise not to mention this to Brother Shabo when I see him later. Uncle, no, this matter has not been decided yet, but I will make a decision soon and will definitely not let you down. Qiao Sen said hurriedly. Qiao Xiaolang hung up the phone and returned it to Liu Yezi. Qiao Xiaolang, who do you think you are? Can you order the mayor around? You are lunatic. Liu Yi shouted. Qiao Xiaolang continued driving. Yi, the moment to witness a miracle will come soon. Liu Yezi kept shaking her head. Madman, what moment of witnessing a miracle is coming? It should be the moment for him to get out. Qiao Sen's office. Qiao Sen walked back and forth with a frown on his face. Originally, he was going to give this 4 billion project to Sigh Group, but Phone Group suddenly got involved yesterday. At the same time, an old classmate who worked in the province also called to intercede. Due to his old classmate's face and the huge influence of Phone Group in Qingcheng business community, he temporarily changed his mind and gave it to Phone Group. I didn't expect that my uncle would call me personally to ask about this matter. I didn't expect that my uncle was Liu Yi's assistant and boyfriend. Last night, my father told me to find my uncle and repay him for his great kindness to the Qiao family. Qiao Sen is a filial son, and his father's words are like an imperial decree to him. Isn't now the best time to repay my uncle? Originally, Sigh Group arrived first, and Phone Group was the troublemaker. I will explain it to my old classmates later. Moreover, Liu Yizi is my uncle's girlfriend, and will be my aunt in the future. If I can't handle this matter well, how can I face my aunt in the future? Thinking of this, Qiao Sen no longer hesitated and took out his cell phone. Chapter 16, Good Sayings. Liu Yizi was in a daze in the car, and when she saw Qiao Sen calling, she quickly answered the call. Boss Liu, regarding the 4 billion project, I just had my subordinates re-examine it at lightning speed. Everyone unanimously agreed that the project should be given to Sigh Group. You can send someone to handle the formalities now. Liu Yi was stunned. She didn't know how to reply to Qiao Sen for a moment, so she just kept thanking him. Qiao Sen smiled and said, Boss Liu, don't thank me, you should thank Assistant Qiao. By the way, when are you going to have the wedding banquet? You must tell me. Liu Yezi was embarrassed. Qiao Sen took the madman's words seriously. Qiao Xiaolang was grinning beside him. After answering Qiao Sen's call, Liu Yezi looked straight at Qiao Xiaolang. Yizi, you look at me so lovingly, I will be moved. Liu Yezi ignored Qiao Xiaolang's teasing and asked directly, Qiao Xiaolang, what is your relationship with Mayor Qiao? My family. What kind of relationship is this family? Same last name. There are many people with the same surname in the world. Are you closely related by blood? Maybe they were one family 100,000 years ago. Why does Mayor Qiao give you such a big face? Because I'm your boyfriend, Mayor Qiao is actually giving you face. Why should Mayor Qiao give me face? Because you are my girlfriend, Mayor Qiao is actually giving me face. Liu Yizi was confused. How could the devil make Mayor Qiao change his mind in an instant? Could it be that Qiao Xiaolang had some background? That's impossible. If he had a prominent background, he wouldn't be a driver in the group. Then why can he make the mayor obey him with just one phone call? Liu Yezi stared at Qiao Xiaolang blankly. Qiao Xiaolang laughed. Yizi, your boyfriend is so capable, aren't you proud? Liu Yizi had no intention of flirting with Qiao Xiaolang and got into a conflict. I had originally planned to drive the devil away today no matter what, but this incident happened on the way. The 4 billion project was lost and recovered in the blink of an eye, and it was all thanks to the devil's operation. Obviously, the devil had made great contributions to the group. According to his own style of doing things, not only could the hero not be killed, but he should also be rewarded heavily. But Liu Yezi couldn't accept it no matter what. It was too horrible to keep a demon who took away her virginity in the group. Liu Yizi was in a dilemma and felt very conflicted. After a fierce ideological struggle, Liu Yezi seemed to slowly figure it out. On the one hand, Qiao Xiaolang is a perverted demon. On the other hand, the demon is a contributor to the group. Although he is a small driver, his contribution far exceeds that of the group's senior executives. He is a big CEO and must distinguish between public and private affairs. As for the demon wanting to be his boyfriend, that is a fantasy. Thinking of this, Liu Yezi felt relieved, but she couldn't help but sigh. After arriving at the group and parking the car, Qiao Xiaolang handed the car keys to Liu Yezi. Willow Leaf was stunned. What? Aren't you going to chase me away? I should leave now. Willow Leaf blushed. Don't leave. The president is a man of his word. How can he change his mind so easily? Liu Yezi felt even more embarrassed. The devil couldn't leave at this time, otherwise she would be branded as the one who massacred the heroes. No, you can't leave. Liu Yezi's tone was firm. I don't. Qiao Xiaolang said bluntly. You absolutely cannot leave. I won't. Seeing that Qiao Xiaolang had a tough tone, Liu Yezi became anxious. Damn it, if the devil left at this time, she would be branded as a person who killed a hero. That would greatly damage the reputation of the president and would greatly discourage the people under the group. What should I do? Liu Yezi was very anxious. Qiao Xiaolang looked at Liu Yi and blinked. Actually, you can let me stay, unless. Unless what? Liu Yezi asked hurriedly when she saw that Qiao Xiaolang had given in and felt hopeful. Unless I see your sincerity. How can I make you see my sincerity? What do you think? Qiao Xiaolang asked with ill intentions. Willow Leaf understood. Willow Leaf's hair was about to explode. The devil was greedy and insatiable, but she had no way out now. If she didn't let the devil see her sincerity, he would leave. If he left, what would happen to her reputation as a big boss? Liu Yezi made up her mind and decided to keep him first to maintain the reputation of the president. Fortunately, we were in the car and no one else could see us. Taking a deep breath, Willow Leaf raised her face and moved closer. Well, that's good. The president is very sincere. Liu Yi stared at Qiao Xiaolang, not leaving. Hey, you're my girlfriend, such a beautiful and rich woman, how can I bear to leave you? In fact, I won't leave even if you chase me with a stick. Liu Yezi found that she had been fooled. Chapter 17 saw it all. After work, Liu Yezi immediately arranged for someone to handle the procedures for the 4 billion project, and then called Milan, Indiana. Sister Lan, according to the group's regulations, once the formalities for this 4 billion project are completed, you will notify the finance department to give Qiao Xiaolang a 2 million bonus. Milan was surprised. 2 million. Mr. Liu, didn't you manage this project? Why did you give Qiao Xiaolang a bonus? My operation failed, and Qiao Xiaolang brought it back. Milan was even more surprised. Qiao Xiaolang has such great ability. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it even if I were beaten to death, but that's the fact. How did Qiao Xiaolang do it? It was simple, he called Mayor Zhou and it was done. It's not that easy. You must have been fooled by Qiao Xiaolang. Whether he was fooling me or not, we really got this project. This must be a coincidence. Maybe Mayor Qiao has been planning to give us this project for a long time. Liu Yezi shook her head. If it wasn't Qiao Xiaolang, this project would belong to Feng Group. I feel that Qiao Xiaolang is very weird now, but I can't see where the weirdness lies. Milan stared at Liu Yi in a daze. Liu Yezi then said angrily, I wanted to fire the devil today, but now I can't. Not only can I not fire him, but I have to reward him heavily. Thinking about how her tongue had been sucked for so long by Qiao Xiaolang and was still sore, Liu Yi felt aggrieved and her eyes turned red. Seeing Liu Yezi like this, Milan guessed that Qiao Xiaolang must have seriously provoked Liu Yezi, otherwise why would he call him a devil, but she couldn't ask if Liu Yezi didn't say anything. Liu Yezi sighed. Sister Lan, call Qiao Xiaolang over. Milan agreed and went out. After a while, Qiao Xiaolang staggered into Liu Yezi's office. Boss, you're looking for me. Liu Yi looked at Qiao Xiaolang in silence for a long time. Where do you live now? Old Town. The old city is far away from Haojing Garden where Liu Yezi lives. Liu Yezi opened the drawer, took out a key and threw it to Qiao Xiaolang. Qiao Xiaolang smiled. Yi, this is your house key, right? I will move in tonight, and we can have a good chat about life in the evening. Liu Yezi's face pulled. Stop dreaming. This is the key to 305, Unit 3, Building 2, Shui Yuan Community. I'm renting it to you. It's fully equipped and you can move in with your luggage. Haojing Garden and Shui Yuan Community are next to each other. Liu Yezi did this to make it easier for Qiao Xiaolang to pick her up and drop her off. Since we can't fire him, we can only create conditions for him to work. Qiao Xiaolang put the key in his pocket. Whose house is this? Willow Leaf said, it's mine, and it's been lying idle. Boss, why would we need rent if we are our own people? It's free. Stop talking nonsense. I'll deduct 800 yuan a month from your salary. 400, Qiao Xiaolang bargained. 800. 401. 800. 402. This guy was bargaining down the price by $1, and he would be a millionaire soon, but he was still so stingy. Liu Yezi was mad and yelled, 800 is 800, no bargaining allowed. Then you should increase my salary by 1,000 per month. No. Qiao Xiaolang sighed. The richer people are, the less willing they are to relax. Seeing Qiao Xiaolang sighing, Liu Yezi felt pleased. Humph, there are times when even the devil can't be so arrogant. Liu Yezi felt dizzy again. The devil was about to become a millionaire, but he was still haggling with her over the rent of 800 yuan. After leaving Liu Yezi's office, Qiao Xiaolang drove directly to Shuiyuan community. They soon arrived at Building 2, which had an H-shaped structure. Qiao Xiaolang went directly upstairs from the stairwell of Unit 3. When they arrived at the door of room 305, Qiao Xiaolang took out the key and inserted it into the keyhole, but it wouldn't turn. It seems that this house has been uninhabited for a long time and the lock is rusty. Qiao Xiaolang adjusted the depth and turned it a few times, but still couldn't open it. As I was fiddling with it, the door opened a crack. It turned out that the door was not locked and could be pushed open directly. Why is it unlocked? Is there a thief? Then catch the thief. When Qiao Xiaolang opened the door, his eyes blurred. In the living room, a beautiful woman was coming out of the bathroom wrapped in a bath towel. Her hair was still wet. What caught Qiao Xiaolang's eyes was a sea of white, half-hidden temptation. Qiao Xiaolang suddenly rushed in. The beauty was startled and screamed. She loosened her hands and the bath towel slid down her smooth skin. Qiao Xiaolang's mind went blank. Wow, such a beautiful spring scene, he saw it all. Ningning had just finished taking a shower and wanted to go to the living room to dry her hair, but unexpectedly a man suddenly broke in. By the time she realized what was happening, it was too late. The bath towel had already slipped to her ankles. Bang! Ningning quickly closed and locked the door, her pretty face flushed with shame and anger. I didn't expect that all the things I had treasured for 23 years would be seen by a strange man. Outside the door, Qiao Xiaolang's mind was still churning with that white scene. It seemed so real. What's going on? How could the thief be so bold to take a bath here? Bang, bang. Qiao Xiaolang knocked on the door and said, "Beauty, there's probably nothing valuable in this room except the furniture. I won't catch you. Put on your clothes and go." Ning quickly put on her clothes and walked to the door and yelled, "You are the thief, your whole family is a thief. This is obviously my home, get out, pervert, or I will call 110. Hey, why is this your house?" Qiao Xiaolang looked up at the house number, it was 305. "This is Liu Ye's house, 305. I just rented it. How could it be your home?" "Nonsense, this is 306. Ning continued to yell. "It's clearly 305, how could it be 306? Come and see if you don't believe me." Ningning opened the door and Qiao Xiaolang pointed upwards with a smile on his face. Ningning looked up and was shocked to see that the vertical line below the 6 in 306 had been worn away, becoming a 5. Ningning was suddenly embarrassed. It turned out that there was a problem with her house number that led to the misunderstanding. This man actually thought she was a thief. Ningning could only consider herself unlucky as she was seen naked by this young man. Chapter 18. Do it twice. Ning said awkwardly, "I misunderstood. Sister Yi's house is opposite. Do you know Yi Zi?" Qiao Xiaolang looked across 305 and then at Ning. "Who are you to Sister Yi?" "I'm Yi Zi's boyfriend," Qiao Xiaolang said proudly. Ning was very surprised. Sister Yi was the most beautiful woman in Qingcheng, and many celebrities and rich men looked down on her. It was unbelievable that the ugly boy in front of her was her boyfriend. "What do you do?" "I'm Yi Zi's assistant and driver." Qiao Xiaolang looked Ning up and down. This is a girl with intellectual beauty, 2 sexy dimples on her face, and a slim figure with curves in all the right places. Seeing Qiao Xiaolang looking at her with a greasy gaze, Ning became very angry when she thought about how he had just looked her over thoroughly. This guy claimed to be Sister Yi's boyfriend, and also his assistant and driver. That was pure nonsense and must be fake. He was just a tenant of Sister Yi's house. But Sister Yi Zi is not short of money, why should she rent out her house? Ning couldn't understand it for a moment, but was annoyed by Qiao Xiaolang's greasy look. "What are you looking at? Haven't you ever seen a woman?" Ning said unhappily. "I've seen a lot of women, but you are very attractive. Since you call me Sister Yi, then I am your brother-in-law. My name is Qiao Xiaolang, and we will be neighbors from now on." Qiao Xiaolang was very happy. He met a beautiful neighbor as soon as he arrived. It seems that he is very lucky. "If you keep talking nonsense, I'll let my cousin tell Sister Yi to settle the score with you." Ning warned Qiao Xiaolang. "Oh, your cousin is Milan. Sister Lan, we are very familiar with each other." Qiao Xiaolang was even happier. "Do you really know my cousin?" Ning was skeptical. "Yes, your cousin is taller than you, and those 2 breasts are bigger than yours." Qiao Xiaolang gestured seriously. Shame on you, get out. Ningning slammed the door and then called Milan. Qiao Xiaolang opened the door of room 305 and went in. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-living room house that was luxuriously decorated and fully equipped. Qiao Xiaolang was very satisfied. The rent of 800 for such a good house was really a bargain. Yizi was still worried about herself, so she gave such a good house to her boyfriend. At this time, Liu Yezi called. Qiao Xiaolang, I'm warning you, Milan's cousin Ningning lives across from you, don't harass her. No, I'm not harassing you. We're having a great time chatting. By the way, what does Ningning do? Lawyer. It turns out that Ningning is a beautiful lawyer, no wonder she is so intellectual and beautiful. Are you satisfied with the house? Liu Yezi felt that this was unnecessary. It's okay. What? Make do. Yes, there is still one thing missing. What is missing? Beauty. Liu Yezi took a breath and said, is this house worth the 800 yuan rent? I think 2000 is about right. Okay, then let's just call it 2000. Liu Yezi couldn't help but want to laugh. In this day and age, there are still people who think the rent is too cheap. Then you should increase my salary by 3000 per month. Liu Yezi felt that she had no way to deal with the devil, as this guy wanted to take advantage of everything he did. Get back here, I want to get out. As soon as Qiao Xiaolang entered the group lobby, he met Milan. Milan grabbed Qiao Xiaolang and said, tell me the truth, what did you do to my cousin? I didn't do anything, just looked at it. What did you see? Go ask your cousin. You rascal, you peeked at my cousin taking a bath, you. What do you mean by I? Your cousin's breasts are not as big as yours. I would like to see yours. How about I find a chance to satisfy my curiosity? Milan was very angry. No. We are all colleagues, why be so stingy? Just think of it as doing a good deed. Shameless. Milan raised her fist and punched Qiao Xiaolang. Sister Lan, it's actually not that difficult to do a good deed. What's difficult is? What is it? Milan asked while hitting. Do it twice. Puff. Milan couldn't help laughing, and then said to Qiao Xiaolang seriously, I solemnly warn you, if you dare to be dishonest to my cousin, I will never forgive you. Qiao Xiaolang said aggrievedly, is there anyone in the world more upright than me? Sister Lan, how about you represent your sister and me and be dishonest for a while? Roll. Just as Qiao Xiaolang arrived in front of the car, Liu Yi came down. Liu Yezi was about to get on the bus when a short-haired man in his 30s walked slowly towards her. The man looked very strong, with a silent expression and bright eyes. Liu Yezi was a little surprised to see the man, Jing Shugan. Hello, miss. Jing Shugan said respectfully to Liu Yezi. You haven't been. I just came back. Brother Dong is about to come out, and the brothers have all returned to Qingcheng. Jing Shugan's voice is very magnetic. Liu Yezi's expression changed slightly. Why are you here? I'm passing by here and I want to see you, miss. Are you okay? I am fine. When Brother Dong comes out, my brothers and I will go to pick him up. Miss, will you go? Willow Leaf hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Jing Shugan glanced at Qiao Xiaolang in the car, then nodded to Liu Yezi, Miss, please get busy. I'm leaving now. Qiao Xiaolang watched Jing Shugan walk out of the Group S gate. His back looked steady and lonely. Liu Yezi watched Jing Shugan leave with a gloomy and worried look on her face. Brother Dong, Qiao Xiaolang muttered to himself. Chapter 19 No, misunderstanding. The next morning, Qiao Xiaolang came back from jogging. As he reached the stairs, he happened to meet Professor Qiao walking out. Hey, brother. Hey, bro. Both of them were surprised. Brother, do you live here? Yeah, I live in 205, how about you, bro? I'm 305. Professor Qiao was very happy. Brother, it turns out that we are neighbors living on the upper and lower floors. Qiao Xiaolang was also very happy. Brother, how is my sister-in-law? She's recovering very well and will be discharged in a few days. I'm just about to go to the hospital to bring her a meal. Professor Qiao shook the box in his hand. Brother, how do you get to the hospital? Take the bus. Brother, it's not safe for you to take the bus at your age. I'll drive you there. How can this be so embarrassing? It's okay. I'm on my way anyway. Big brother, wait a minute. I'll go upstairs and change my clothes. Qiao Xiaolang changed his clothes and came out. As soon as he opened the door, he met Ningning coming out. Ningning is dressed very fashionably today, with white high heels, a very Korean-style top, and straight stretch jeans. Her seaweed-like hair is tossed, making her look so charming. Looking at Ningning, Qiao Xiaolang's eyes widened. Ningning glared at Qiao Xiaolang, snorted, and went downstairs. Qiao Xiaolang followed behind her, watching Ningning's plump curves twisting and turning, and couldn't help but praise, "TSK, TSK, TSK." Ningning was annoyed. She stopped and turned around. "What's wrong with your mouth? What are you saying?" Qiao Xiaolang laughed. "I have a piece of candy in my mouth, so I said TSK, TSK." "You're lying. Open your mouth and let me see." "No." "Why not?" "I'm afraid you'll steal my candy." "How can I snatch the candy from your mouth?" "Rogue." "Beauty, we don't curse. Just call him a hooligan, a hooligan. I'll spank you if you keep scolding me." "You dare? If you don't believe it, try it." Qiao Xiaolang raised his hand. Ningning was scared, so she turned around and ran. She ran downstairs panting and wanted to look back to see if the gangster had followed her. When she turned around, she bumped into Qiao Xiaolang. "TSK, TSK." Qiao Xiaolang praised. Ningning was very angry and raised her fist to hit Qiao Xiaolang. "You rascal, shameless. Oh, it feels good. Keep going. You can focus more." At this time, Professor Qiao came over and asked, "What are you doing?" When Ningning saw Professor Qiao, she stopped what she was doing and greeted him with a blushing face. Ningning graduated from the law school of Qingcheng University and was a student of Professor Qiao. Qiao Xiaolang said, "Brother, Lawyer Ning is giving me a massage." "Har har, brother, let's go." "Okay, big brother." Hearing Qiao Xiaolang and Professor Qiao calling each other big brother, Ningning's eyes widened. What's going on? This bad guy is much younger than Professor Qiao's son, so how come he is calling Professor Qiao brother? Ningning stared blankly at Qiao Xiaolang and Professor Qiao as they got into the car and left. Qiao Xiaolang drove the car to the gate of Haojing Garden, and after a while Liu Yezi came out and got in the car. When Liu Yezi saw Professor Qiao on the car, she was a little surprised. Qiao Xiaolang introduced Professor Qiao. "Brother, this is Liu Yezi, the president of our group. The house upstairs belongs to her. I live in it now." Professor Qiao nodded amiably. "Hello, Miss Liu. My last name is Qiao. I am a retired teacher from Qingcheng University. I just moved to room 205 not long ago." Liu Yezi hurriedly greeted him respectfully. "Hello, Uncle Qiao." Qiao Xiaolang quickly corrected, "Yi, this is my eldest brother, you should call him brother." Liu Yi felt dizzy. How could she call someone big brother when she saw someone several decades older than her? It was strange. When did Qiao Xiaolang recognize such an old big brother? Professor Qiao nodded. "Yes, I heard my son talk about your relationship yesterday. I am so happy for my brother that he can find a girlfriend as beautiful as Miss Liu." Liu Yezi continued to feel dizzy. She had no time to be shy. Her mind quickly reacted. "Uncle Qiao, your son is Qiao-sen." R. Liu Yezi was stunned. It turned out that the elder man sitting in the car was Mayor Qiao's father, and Qiao Xiaolang actually called him big brother. Professor Qiao said excitedly, "Miss Liu, you have good taste in finding a boyfriend like my brother. If my husband hadn't been in a car accident the day before yesterday and was saved by my brother, I wouldn't have had the chance to meet him. He is such a kind young man, and he has the same surname and generation as me. We are destined to be together." After hearing what Professor Qiao said, Liu Yezi understood that Qiao Xiaolang had saved Mayor Qiao's mother and was recognized as a brother by Mayor Qiao's father. Naturally, Mayor Qiao had to respect Qiao Xiaolang as his elder. No wonder Qiao Xiaolang was able to get the 4 billion project done with just one phone call. It turned out that Mayor Qiao owed Qiao Xiaolang a huge favor. "I didn't expect that the carefree Qiao Xiaolang could do such a good deed. It can be said that good people get good rewards, and the beneficiary of the good rewards is Sigh Group. In this way, I owe Qiao Xiaolang a big favor." Qiao Xiaolang said at this time, "Brother, my girlfriend is shy when she sees strangers and doesn't talk much. Please don't be surprised." "How could that be? I think your sister-in-law is beautiful and gentle, and she is a perfect match for you. You will definitely be happy together. Your sister-in-law and I must go to your wedding. Chapter 20. No need for a man. Liu Yezi was anxious. Uncle Qiao, you are wrong, Qiao Xiaolang and I are not in that kind of relationship. Professor Qiao smiled and said, Miss Liu, why are you still calling me uncle? We can't mess up the generations. How come you two are not that kind of relationship? Don't keep it a secret. Your nephew came home yesterday and said that it was because of the relationship between you and my brother that he gave that $4 billion project to your group. He is still very scared and said that he almost offended his young aunt who was not yet married. After Professor Qiao said this, Liu Yi was speechless. Qiao Xiaolang said happily, Brother, thank my nephew for me later. Brother, why should you thank your own child? It's only natural. Listening to what the two brothers said, Liu Yezi wanted to laugh and cry at the same time. When they arrived at the group office, Liu Yezi called Milan over. Sister Lan, the matter of the $4 billion project has finally been clarified. Liu Yezi then told Milan the truth. Milan suddenly realized, so that's how it is. Liu Yezi nodded. It seems that Qiao Xiaolang is not weird, he is just a good person who gets rewarded. Milan pondered for a moment. Boss Liu, it seems that Qiao Xiaolang is not that bad. He can save people and help the group complete big projects. Liu Yezi couldn't help but nodded and said, but he is still a sex maniac. Pervert. Yeah, when I see a beautiful woman, I can't move my eyes away and I start to have wild thoughts. Milan thought about how Qiao Xiaolang always tried to figure out whether her curves were natural, and agreed with Liu Yezi's opinion. Yes, this guy is always lecherous. Even if he does good things, it can't change his lecherous nature. We have to be careful in the future and not let him get away with it. After hearing Milan's words, Liu Yezi wanted to cry. He had helped her to detoxify her overnight and had succeeded. But this guy was now showing off his relationship with her everywhere, and even his elder brother and nephew knew about it. But then I thought about what Professor Qiao said in the morning. If he hadn't been showing off his relationship with me, why would Mayor Qiao have given the $4 billion project to Sigh Group? On the one hand, the devil was constantly taking advantage of himself, but on the other hand, he made huge contributions to the group. What kind of monster is this? Liu Yezi was confused. Milan then said, Boss Liu, the formalities for the $4 billion project have been completed. So fast. Liu Yezi was a little surprised. Mayor Qiao personally took care of it, and it was a green light all the way. Liu Yezi nodded, feeling grateful for the help given to him by his nephew. When will the $2 million bonus for Qiao Xiaolang be paid? Milan said. Liu Yezi thought for a moment and said, the financial director will be back from his business trip tomorrow, and I will transfer $2 million to Qiao Xiaolang's salary card tomorrow. It was so easy for Qiao Xiaolang to earn these $2 million. Milan was very envious. This is what he deserves. Compared with his contribution to the group, $2 million is not much. Milan thought for a moment and said, Boss Liu, I have a feeling that once Qiao Xiaolang knows that he has won $2 million, he may not come to work the day after tomorrow. Why? Think about it, how many years of hard work does it take to earn 2 million yuan as a driver? Qiao Xiaolang now has 2 million yuan and has become a millionaire in the blink of an eye. Will he continue to drive for the group? Liu Yezi's mind brightened. Yes, she had no choice but to keep Qiao Xiaolang yesterday for the sake of the big president's reputation. Now, if she gave him 2 million, she would have a clear conscience. When Liu Yezi thought of the night of detoxification, when she thought of how Qiao Xiaolang had turned her from a girl into a woman, when she thought of how she had been forced to kiss the devil twice, she was very angry and wished that Qiao Xiaolang would disappear from her sight immediately. If Qiao Xiaolang took the initiative to leave after getting 2 million, wouldn't that be a huge burden off her mind? In this way, she would not bear the infamy of slaughtering heroes, and the group's men would not feel disappointed. Thinking of this, Liu Yezi felt much more relaxed. She was now certain that Qiao Xiaolang would resign of his own accord after getting the 2 million yuan, and would use the huge sum of money to eat, drink, gamble and have sex. Sister Lan, you should immediately look for a new driver to replace Qiao Xiaolang. I don't think he will come the day after tomorrow. In the evening, Qiao Xiaolang took Liu Yezi and Milan to Qingcheng Hotel, as Liu Yezi was going to entertain clients there tonight. After getting out of the car, Liu Yezi looked at Qiao Xiaolang and said, Go to the buffet and wait for me in the car after you finish eating. Qiao Xiaolang looked at Milan and said, Let's go, Sister Lan, let's go to the buffet. Liu Yezi said, Sister Lan wants to entertain the clients with me, you go by yourself. Qiao Xiaolang was not convinced. I am the president's assistant, and my position is higher than Sister Lan. Why can Sister Lan accompany clients but I can't? Milan wanted to laugh. This guy really thinks he is a big shot. Liu Yi glared and said, Assistant Qiao, the guest tonight is a woman and doesn't need a man to accompany her. You should save yourself the trouble. Female? Is she a beautiful girl? I like beautiful girls. I want to go. I want to go. Nympho, stay away. I won't. I won't. Milan leaned over to Qiao Xiaolang and whispered in his ear, the guest is over 70 years old, you can call her grandma. Qiao Xiaolang ran away before he finished listening. After eating and drinking, Qiao Xiaolang sat in the car, picking his teeth and thinking about Liu Ye's failed kidnapping. Liu Yi is my girlfriend. It is unacceptable for someone to kidnap my woman. She must be severely punished. Well, was group, Xiao Huochao, Xiao Huoshao.